Okay, guys, we're now live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Peter Flynn is live now. Otaku Modelers Guild. Otakuthon Build Day. What did I say before? Montreal.
So be nice to everyone. Have fun. We're learning how to build models. We're probably going to have more people coming in. You probably cannot see. You can only see my hand. Hello.
We're here to just make some jokes, laugh, and insult each other.
Oh, that's not nice. That's so not nice. Look at Lou walking so slow. Look at Lou walking so slow. He's like,
because it's old.
I know. I agree.
Can we have the links on the event page?
What?
Can we have the link on the event page?
It's currently right now stuck on mine. On my personal. Until no, because here's the thing. I'm using a program that allows me to stream more than one location. But the problem is that I'm required to pay the account for in order to stream it to a group or bitwise. So let me check how much it costs. What is Lou doing? Oh, he's having fun, isn't he?
Advertise, that's I think.
I'm making a little hole so I could put one of the wings. I could clip it easy.
That's what I have to do with it.
Oh, you mean the
Oh, you're just
No,
weekend.
he's trying to try some new shit. Like, hey,
I
don't know
Lou,
what I'm doing this.
Lou, you're so evil.
How much was you remember how much you paid for that one?
So this one is $100. But you can get it for cheaper. There's one that's like $40 or $50. But it instead of it being like there's like a dock that you charge it. This one has like a battery you put inside. I'm sure it's somewhere.
No, that's what the sound is actually kind of annoying.
Sorry.
But yeah, using a drum drill. And more people are coming. All right. So hello everyone. So this is the Otaku Anime Guild, Modelers Guild Club. We decided to go build this, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Building models is not specifically towards Gunpla. It is basically towards models that we are interested in. So that's a whole bunch. Lou, which is the guy who just decided to go look at the camera wise, decided to go and throw a lot of models in front of his face. So he's having fun. So enjoy. Otherwise, roughly about 2:00 p.m. we're going to be having a presentation of the dome. You're so evil. What are you doing? So now he's laughing with us. So if you want to learn how to build a model, there's still time. We're going to be located at 5115 Avenue Trans Island. It is near the closest metro at Snowdon, and yeah. And I have to bend because the camera's so low. Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Oh,
this thing is like
don't forget about that.
it helps so much.
What?
It's just really like
presentation on thinking and asking.
this thing
No,
is a
it's
headache.
only it's next week. That's next time. Next month.
Can you put a mini drill? I wonder what that is.
Actually, this is what I
No,
thought.
today we're
If
learning
you're gonna get something
about,
like this, you want to get something like this.
Ah,
Yeah, and then from there you can
different
put
parts
like
of
any
kits
sort of
to
drill
make
bit you want.
the drum dome.
It helps a lot,
The drum dome.
but it's expensive.
you're getting a
That's for me.
Yeah, this actually, this I'm gonna actually like this. The other one is like a smiley face and then like a bleeding teeth. I want to make her open her mouth and be like,
It was so nice to look at I want to make.
I like this thing though.
How much you pay for the
Dude,
drill?
you never changed your
$100.
password. That was $11.
$100 though.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
But this includes like whatever is in this. Except not the drills, like the drill bits are and the chuck. This thing is cheap, like it was separate, but it was like it was like maybe like $10. But it includes like this little thing. So I'm gonna ask you.
Hey, Mo has reacted to the video. He's sad.
Oh no!
And Julie has responded saying she can't be here.
Why can't you guys?
tell Julie that Mo is not here, so she's safe.
Hi.
Fun. Oh,
Hey, take a spot. If you don't want to be in the media, just go there. If you want to be in the media, there's plenty of
Gundam HQ.
Yeah.
You have to put in the game or something.
Oh, true. I remember that. But like,
It's one of those no grade
Yeah, like it's called like an advanced grade.
Yeah, like with the microchip thing.
I guess if you put it like
Sorry,
oh, that's okay, don't worry about it.
I think it's the one at the back.
Oh yeah, that little part there. This is small part. So if I were to put this in a custom and I go to Japan and I play the game with this, this is gonna be like, oh, you mean it's a
Like, what is it?
Zetas, yeah. So it's like you have like the Zetas, and it's like it's not like it. This isn't like it looks like. It's not a Zetas. It's like, oh man, look. Already, I'm trying to like make this little like crevice here so that I could put a little wing, a smaller wing, so that it can come in easier.
Oh, you're mourning the winter.
Of the Siegfried, yeah. And it's really difficult to work unless I want to get my fingers cut. That's really good.
Do you have sandpaper with you?
I don't know if I do. I have those like standing stick plates.
You just got rejected.
I was just using those right now.
Yeah,
Those things are amazing.
I love these things a lot. Like, do you use water on these?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
They make the they make the thing last a little longer.
yeah. That's. I wish they would last forever though.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's okay for that. Like, I'm just gonna check to see one of the.
Shimakaze. Who did you that? Oh, never mind.
But it's definitely around there.
Oh.
You know the problem with having a nurse as a wife?
Calling overtime sick. I mean, calling over.
If it's like you should tell you wrong and it's backwards. In a way, yes, it is. Because you know, when you go to a doctor, the doctor tells you to do this, do that, you go home, you don't give a shit, right?
Yep.
Well, if you have a nurse as a wife, you go home, you meet the nurse again. They'll tell you what to do.
I was gonna say if you guys get paid for it or something like that.
I don't care. That means I have to work less stuff.
So, get a nurse for what?
Yeah, j'ai commencé. C'est fun, c'est une brain dead job. Ça paye pas beaucoup, mais tu travailles pas trop sur le Oui, quand il y a un avion, il y a beaucoup d'avions.
And you work from naked to
Nope.
I'm assuming he's working. Actually, he didn't believe me, like, with the Togi site picture. He doesn't believe I painted it by hand. Well, even though I showed him pictures and everything, he's like, I gotta see it in person. I don't think you painted it by hand.
Voici.
It's like, I used a flat brush. Like multiple strokes. And the thing is sweet. As well. So they're going to be able to tell that it's not that it won't come. But him, he's just like, no, I have to see it. I don't believe that there's no brush mark. I'm just like, okay. And I forgot to bring it.
Where's the paper?
Hello. What? What the heck? Yeah. How'd you got in? The hell?
Ouais, ça c'est non, non, c'est ouais, ça c'est non, il faut ça aussi
Unfortunately, this is dragging on longer.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh, I totally into this, and I just couldn't see him. Like, no, it has to be him. He's making that product. I was just like, oh my god.
It's mine. So this is what happens. So in anticipation, if this idea won't work.
Extra camera. Are you opening it? You're opening up the camera in front of another camera.
Where's the phone? Where's the phone?
Oh, the username. This is the streamer extension.
What's she need?
What? Is he still using that?
Yes, he is.
It's new. It's been using it for like
Yeah.
30 years.
So yeah. So.
This is the first time I actually hear him say it.
No, this is not my first time.
Trust us, he's been using it for a long
No,
time.
he's been doing that way too long.
I mean, I've
So,
seen
yeah.
I've seen him laugh like a donkey. I've heard him sing terribly. But I've never heard him say "moshi moshi" before.
That's here.
Still, he shouldn't apply for Canadian Idol. If that show's still around.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's still
Canadian Idol is still around.
I reckon we do. I think it is.
You don't remember when he was singing and he had dogs in his shop. Dogs were looking at him like, "Will you goddamn stop? Because you're killing us." I mean, the dogs were like,
Well, they are dead.
"Shut up, goddamn!"
They did pass away, like what, a few years ago, several years ago. I can't remember. They were his dogs.
Yeah, at the beginning he had two of them. You big goddamn dogs.
And they were always behind the counter, just sleeping.
Oh god.
Yeah, but have you ever tried to reach behind
That's
the
boss?
counter?
What is it?
Because the dogs were trying to kill you.
for smoking came back.
Okay.
One of them, the brown one.
Vicious.
This is my house.
I must. He forgot his.
Yeah, professional builder forgot his cutter. Yeah.
Better like a knife or is what you need a necklace?
Welcome back.
Be more shy. Me.
Oh yeah. This made for this?
No.
No.
Whatever makes you happy.
It just fell off.
No. No. The beat is like the. I'm gonna hurt him.
Oh, I'm gonna hit him.
You're gonna kill him softly, right?
No, I'm gonna just hit him. I can't kill him.
Don't forget, it's being broadcast live and possibly recorded.
I know, that's what I said. I'm gonna hit him. I'm not gonna kill him.
That can still go
My
to
mistake,
jail.
don't worry. Nobody will take him to court for that.
So,
You can't carry him. So. Sorry.
I feel taller.
oh, I forgot. What's up? I need to write a report. Sure.
Is Nate supposed to be here already?
He's coming soon. Peter told me while you were gone.
How come Peter tell you secrets and not me?
Because I asked.
No.
No.
You want
No.
to be Italian?
No. It's my machete, not yours.
How are you doing?
That's why it's making this smell.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't even know how it's leaking. Okay, maybe it's inside of a
What?
bag.
What's leaking?
You know that putty? You know, like a two-part putty?
Oh no.
The two.
This is why you should have separate bags. That's why there was my tank and brush.
Excuse me, look. Yo, about the I think the pre-registration yet. When you gonna start accepting the pre-registration? Like when?
For Otakuthon?
Yeah.
We have to still have to talk to Peter about that.
But the
I like
tickets are
keeping
still on
everything
sale.
together, or like getting something better than this like dumb bag, you know.
You should get small. This is what I did. I used the slip-up wires to separate stuff.
Okay.
That's the best thing. Like all the putty should be in one, all the paint should be in another.
Oh, you have like the have you do you have the Gaia? Do you know any place to get Gaia paints?
Well, what's
Gaia paints. There's like a Japanese paint. It's like apparently really good.
I got it from the website online last year. I tried it. It was amazing. I went to do another order. And my order was usually through the website. So they changed my email address and everything. And I contacted customer support and they're not replying because Gaia paints, they're not allowed to sell it in the States. So I'm like, okay, maybe because of that.
What's the States? Not in Canada?
No, not in Canada, but in the States. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's the reason why you're not answering my emails, you can just tell me, oh, by the way, we can sell that to Canada.
Yeah. You know, there's this Chinese guy I bought some like photo etch from. And he said, unfortunately, I can't sell it to you because it's in Canada. And I told him it's okay, you can send it to me. It's like, I'm just warning you that you send the money, I'm gonna send it to you. But if there's anything happens to your product, it's not on me. Like that's what he told me. Yeah, at least.
What do you mean on the product, like on the kit?
Because apparently, like when he was trying to get like photo etch, he was sending photo etch, and apparently there's been like times where it wouldn't get to the customer. So you'd have to reimburse them because like they didn't receive their product.
It's because of the shipment laws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the United States has some laws that don't make any sense. For example, they ban.
No politics here, man. No politics, yeah?
No, we're talking about.
No politics. We talk about Trump. I know you.
We're talking about paint. We're talking about paint.
Gaia
I'm
paints.
talking about paint, and I'm talking about Kinder Surprise.
And we're talking about American.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
talking
you
about I'm talking about certain laws. I mean, hell, moving on before I was rudely interrupted.
Rupee, alright. What? Excuse me? Get out.
I don't want to be sitting here anymore.
Well, too late.
Let's see if I have any.
Actually, if I'm on drugs,
You want right?
Yeah, but you think that's BS? Here's the other thing. I wanted to get a bunch of stuff from the Pokemon Center, which is actually like high quality Pokemon
Yeah,
products.
I saw. You saw that. You know.
Yeah, they have a store in the States, and I was just like, okay, I want to get like Team Skull jacket, I want to get Team Skull hat, bandana, like everything. And they said, yeah, sorry, we can't ship it to Canada. I'm like, I even asked them, like, why is that? Like, oh, we only ship it in parts of the United States. I'm like, okay, well, don't you think that would be a little better that if you started actually shipping it to other parts of the world? They're like, yeah, but currently we don't have that policy. So. Yet, however, if you're a store, you could sell those products in your store. But if you're someone like me wanting to buy stuff, they said they'll tell you, sorry, no, you can't.
That's unfortunate.
I know they missed out on an opportunity of someone spending $300.
I know. Yeah, I know. If it's called, they don't give a shit.
You know,
They don't give a shit.
Similar story.
$300
Yes, outside, yes. They don't give a shit because they already have it. They don't give a shit. They already
similar. There was a similar story that I have. That's I wanted to buy an Assassin's Creed jacket back when Assassin's Creed was popular.
Nerd.
He's not a nerd. It's just a camera. They just go to Ubisoft and have a gift shop.
That's true, but like there was like a really nice like jacket that they had in that some guy was making in England, and I was like, can I buy this jacket? At first, like the payment went through and everything went well, and then after they were like, oh, due to circumstances we can't sell it outside, so then they like canceled the order, reimbursed me. So I'm like, shit.
They gave you the refund.
At least they gave me the shit.
But yeah, you could go to Ubisoft. Like when I went there last time, they were having an open house, so that explains why they probably had a gift shop. I don't know if they still have it now.
I hear somebody like that's so far away from the speaker. I don't hear you. Who's the guy or girl? Somebody.
Better right.
She was saying, please help me.
Dude, don't tell me you've done that to me.
You were the one making the jokes earlier.
About what?
Before the live.
I don't
About what?
About girls and stuff like that.
Oh, the cut.
I say no such thing. I have a lot of respect for girls. I'm married to one.
I hope so.
You better have respect for your wife. She's a nurse. Don't forget that. Probably has a couple needles hidden somewhere.
Oh man, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't. Oh man.
I wouldn't know because I'm not a nurse.
But you know how many needles and syringes I've been stockpiling for Gunpla?
Oh, for the Gunpla. Okay, if you were gonna say like at your house and you didn't give up the Gunpla part, I'd be like, what the hell is this guy planning?
Like, oh man, like I haven't even like.
Mais je suis pas à la maison, mais t'as vu des matchs.
Okay, introduction. Well, there's tool. If you don't have any tools, you can lend it to you. You can put it here. Donations. Any money, amount of money you want to donate is fine. You can have one, but don't donate more than $5 unless you really want to. If they don't donate more than $5. How with these guys is a more than $5. You can donate. Right? You can take it here. Do not take it home and sell on eBay. Got it. Alright? Because that thing worth a lot more than $5 on eBay.
You look so confused for five. He's like, what is this guy? He just tells
First
me.
time. I gotta say, I'm just here with a friend actually.
Ah,
Well, join your friend. And that's
Join your friend.
simple as that. Yay!
who's the poor soul? Sorry.
Of course. So if you need tools, just ask Peter who hand it to you. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, I heard about it. Je pense que c'est une
Non, c'est je me fais, c'est me poser dans le place. You know comment ramasser.
Ouais.
Ramasse, tourne. Et puis, comme nous, on a toujours l'habitude, on twist. Twist. Donc quand on twist, c'est bon pour l'instrument quand tu twist, c'est pas bon pour les genoux.
We're getting old.
Getting old is other, not other.
Great.
Souvent pas vendu dans les 70
Let's just say that was not I
Oh wow, you got the chest there.
don't worry.
Or you use a brief. There's a nice color scheme you could do.
So once again, nobody has
Hi, what's wrong?
Come on, don't you want to see me? Hi, come on.
No.
Pharmacy is down the street.
I know. Oh, you volunteer. So nice of you, Adam.
No, I'm not gaming for you.
I'll give you a model.
Master grade in the
Perfect grade.
master grade. I draw the line at master grade.
I filled it.
He done that.
I'm sorry.
How much are the crack?
Oh, no, the
Monsieur,
tools.
tu veux t'en donner?
Non, je peux pas. C'est vraiment, je crois que c'est admin. Il faut que je demande à ma femme nurse. The tools, you can ask Peter who will lend it to you. That's possible. The mall you can try out, like I told you, the small one, you can put any donation. You can put $1, whatever you want. Okay. If you can put more than $5, it's fine too. But it's not worth more than $5. The other one, unfortunately, is $5.
I'll just take the.
Yeah, whatever. Take one. Take one. Put $1 in that. The donation, by the way, is to pay for the tools that you're going to use for free. It's not for us to fund. It's a donation.
Doesn't that sound like an oxymoron? You're paying and
How long you gonna go over there?
Every day that you want to argument against you, so.
When he replies like that, you feel like, shut up.
saying stay right where you are. Stay where
That's
you
so,
are.
that's
I used to
so
win
weird.
arguments against my parents. So think about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
Well, he's dead.
No, it's a video of you. Someone called.
I know. I'm going along with that by using some realism. So.
What's the
Yeah, but now you make me feel bad. It's like, oh man, I was trying to make a joke.
Yeah, that was the point. I was trying to make you feel bad because I'm making my joke. I'm evil. I'm a genius. Let's leave it at that. And I'm sexy. That's why I'm not on the camera.
You know, I got their liquid judge. I'm just saying that regular straight is quite good, but.
Oh, don't worry. That's not that good. It's fine.
Seriously, do you really need Advil?
Well, look at him walk.
I was about to say, like, sure you could eat morphine.
That or weed. I mean, it's illegal now, so.
Yeah, get some Navalon in there.
Some pineapple express.
Wait,
Oh, that
what?
was a good idea.
Dumb one.
Fuck the police! Like so fucking funny.
You got thanks a lot, asshole.
Live recording.
Lucky this,
Live
my channel
recording,
news.
so we're not allowed to say the word sex? Oh,
Peter's like, this was a mistake.
You know what the worst thing is? This is all under my account. And this is
Like, oh, thank God it's not Otakuthon, okay.
At least this is not YouTube.
yes, this is quite happening right now at this very moment. Check this.
Remember, kids, drugs and model doesn't mix.
Ugh, kids.
Yeah, I built a kit once when I was drunk. Never again. It was a bad idea.
we cannot hear you. Can you speak louder?
So it's good. It's perfectly fine. I don't drink alcohol. I don't need the.
I only drink beer with friends. I don't do any drugs.
Sure, okay, your friend here. So go get some beers with us too, yeah?
What?
No.
I hear.
That made no sense.
You never gumpa and drink.
What?
That's true.
What? That's how you get creative. It's just like a musician, man. They have to get high to do all our good hits.
No, they get the audience high so that way they never figure out how they did those tricks or they make the tricks.
That's magicians. I'm talking about musicians.
Oh, musicians. I heard musicians.
Well, no.
I know what. Nonetheless, like. Probably
Always trick the audience. Yeah, that's what bosses do at the companies do.
Always give the audience what they want.
Unless you're Activision.
Damn, the drug doesn't work.
You gotta wait for it to kick in.
Yeah, kick in. Especially for my knees, right? With a twist.
Actually, that was not meant to be a pun.
Oh, shut up.
Alright. No, you're gonna suffer along with me.
No.
Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to joke around, please do so, eh? Or else you're gonna have to endure me the whole day.
I'm running out of jokes.
You did another single about moo.
Well, here's the thing. You know what Moo did? Moo. Oh, sorry, Mo. Mo. Okay, so this is what Mo did.
Is this about me?
No.
I didn't invite many points.
No, so this is what Mo did. So Mo, what he decided to do, he sends a message to all of us saying, this is where I am right now. He's enjoying a meal. And I was about to say, you're a diabetic fool, but I can't really say that.
But you just did on live TV.
I know.
So he probably heard you.
He heard me. That's fine. Mo.
He's always out there eating.
No. Remember, we always joke around saying, like, he's always with us because you can't play airsoft. So he's like, you lose. And so we always joke around saying, like, so you can't play airsoft, so you can come hang out with the losers? That's kind of evil of you.
The good-looking losers. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm an ugly loser.
No, all you're required to do is have a nice haircut. You'll be fine.
Ow, 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 ow.
Not even. You just need to wear like
Trench coat and
no,
like
the,
trench coat.
what doctors
one-
wear.
one
The
side.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Scrubs, and then you automatically become hot.
Just don't act like Dr. Cox, though.
Oh no, Dr. Cox. Maybe, you know, Dr. Cox is like, he's a nice guy, you know, he's sarcastic and
Very sarcastic.
Very sarcastic.
that's his shtick though.
Guys, you can't come here to work and drink. You're not airline pilots, for Christ's sake.
No, that's so funny.
What comes before I?
This time around, I remember to bring my
Hey, check the
Dollar.
hey, check the Dollar. They have this session have the nails. 4 days on.
when this is parce que j'ai my stuff. When I'm like, okay,
Did you just call me?
I think everything is right, and then I send up.
Oh, no, there goes my piece. All I heard was blue.
Forgot to bring.
Cough, cough, cough.
Mais parce que quelqu'un m'a dit, tu vas acheter la même chose
Ça commence à se
par marquis, but it's flat stick, but actually it's very
It's not expensive either. And, more than all. Then both.
Okay, who brought their Switch?
No, it's my phone. It's my nurse.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so much like a Switch.
If Mo would have been here, like, get out.
No.
No, it would be,
Payment is his switch. He has to put his switch right there. You have to build over there.
no. We just don't. You remember what new policy it is? You bring a Switch, you decide to go play in the washroom.
Yep.
Oh god, that was a riot. Ow. Ow.
And if you lose at whatever game you're playing at, you have to use your Switch's location.
Oh.
So
so evil.
No, that was me who came up with that.
I know, but you're evil too.
Yeah, I can see why you're scared, but both you want to switch spots.
Peter's not afraid of me.
No, him.
Oh, him? He's not afraid of me.
Not
Are you
yet.
afraid of me?
I'm having a wonderful day.
God! Torture begins. Well, I'm having fun.
Let's stop dancing.
Wink, wink, wink.
I will
wink,
not
that's
dance in
us.
front of you people.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, how's it plural?
Okay, one of my college directors, where are they? She said that she'll be here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, one of our staff is supposed to be here, building
She's
a
a
mock.
doctor? She want to play doctor with us? Really?
No, she wants to mock me.
So you said mocker, not doctor.
Mock.
Okay.
So no, one of my staff from the con said that she'll come here, build with us, and make fun of me.
Maybe most likely.
Well, we're already doing that in her place, so.
I was thinking that's just like you know,
In some form or shape.
Speak for yourself. I'm a wonderful guy. That's why I'm so simple, bro.
Well, here's the problem with me. I try to be neutral with everyone, but I do not want to piss people off.
That's called being neutral.
No, like try to, and then in the end, there's no way in hell being able to. I can't please everyone.
Welcome to 2019, where people are complaining that a certain new character has
her
thighs.
her
Dude, is that
skirt
your
is
generation?
this long. It has to be 26. It's like 28 centimeters
She's
long.
wearing a gymnast uniform
Yeah.
with high
At this
boots.
point, they're gonna be like, oh,
Persona 5.
Persona 5
the
character, yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
like she has a black trench coat, mask, black gymnast suit.
Are you
You're getting some.
Okay.
People say, no, that's
Where you guys? Where you guys? McDonald's?
McDonald's.
But no, we're going to a fancy restaurant.
No, I got
right?
coupons for Subway.
Yeah, but I'm too hungry.
No, you get like
one foot sandwich would be good.
Yeah, you can get also like 2 sandwiches, 2 6 inches for for the price of one.
So I just want to confirm, what time are you thinking of going to do that?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
still
still
valid. It's valid until next
May
month.
19th.
Our Gab? Your Gab?
Oh yeah, like
You did say you might join it just for the food, but I hear ya.
Which one?
Wait, Gabe's coming?
No, you just want to come for food.
That's Gab, of course.
Are you near?
Me.
Oh, yeah, because Adrian's just like hungry. You want to go eat?
Yeah, pretty hungry. Like, I'm gonna go for a whole. Because this is like, you buy a 6-inch with a drink, then you get the second one for free.
You could even make it a straight up 12-inch. I've done it multiple times. Like, yeah, both 6 inches
So
are
what
the
do you
same,
got for
so I might as well
lunch,
just make it one full
Well,
12-inch.
Gab just
And I was
bowed.
like, yeah, makes sense.
But if anything, what we would do
Yeah,
is
because he said he only got show around too. So. I wanted to take care of the
Also, it's healthier than McDonald's.
Yeah, true. It's also very healthy.
Well, here's the thing. Hansi already ate.
It's like a
Right, you want to eat
2
right now?
6-inch.
Oh, Hansi.
Oh, this, huh?
Yes, Hansi.
Ozzy and Hansi.
Then we could use this one
Hallelujah.
to get like, you know, another 6 inches.
Because you already bought your lunch, you already ate it.
Ooh, you bought a Panax.
Yeah.
Big ship. It comes with figurine, right?
Oh, no, because this one is like a 6-inch of this one. So this is a 6-inch.
So it's already.
Then we just buy another 6-inch, and it's
Oh, you did?
6-inch for free.
Ah, interesting.
Well, yeah. Let's
Panax, yeah. Max
It's a bit simple.
Oh my God, they go back a long way back.
It's
back
pretty
in-
much like.
Well, Max Factory is before the car. Max Factory.
No, quite. It's either. You're fucking kidding. This shit fucking. You should die. Non, il n'y a pas de gun. C'est un gun. I remember, oh man, c'est soft fucking what? It's definitely a monstre. Je suis juste ouvrir la boîte puis je fais oh non, fuck it. J'ai juste trouvé comme shit. Parce que du soft my go, là, ouais, mais parce que ça, c'est le genre de café que tu commences pas par. Et je vais commencer par ça. Non. 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 Non.
Dans ma photo m'a donné le ice, non, c'est pas la version film, excuse-moi, c'est la version
Le soir. Le gros monstre noir, là. Avec les petits contrasteurs derrière, ouais.
Mais ça, parce que le plus, ça devient différent. Parce qu'il m'a donné ça que c'est. C'est que j'ai tout dans boîte chez moi, sous-sol.
J'ai dû stop my group.
C'est ça que je fais. Plein de choses que je peux pas faire avant. Je vais display comme ça.
Oui, il y a des bus qui sont en parlant de location, parce que j'ai dit social. Que je peux pas faire
Après, ouais, comme le rack, c'est pas encore deux secondes.
Je suis pas arrivé, hein.
Là,
Là, il va venir ici dans le.
J'ai tellement hâte de
il y a
l'avoir.
ça.
Non, le
Ok.
le rack, ça sert.
Ah ouais?
C'est les choses.
C'est déjà sorti.
Des fois, les fournisseurs pour le Canada,
Je sais plus par trop. Je sais pas, je sais pas.
je sais pas par
On a-tu des liens pour le Gaston? Non, le IUG Gaston.
Ah, non, je me trompais avec le F91. Non, je suis trompé dans un. En fait, Puis à l'aise, je prends tout ce que j'apprends.
Oui, c'est
Maintenant que je prends. Maintenant que je peux faire ça maintenant. I guess I should put it down.
I got Subway coupons.
Say what?
I got Subway coupons. Or whatever's left.
Okay, I mean real people. Washing machine. Washing machine. Okay, fine. Somebody's at the door. We just walk in.
The person at the door is like, I think I'm gonna do it.
Oh my god, I'm getting old. Oh my god.
Yeah.
People don't get old.
You get
Stay young.
You get used to it. It sounds like Dr. Gavin 3. Oh, you're getting old? Yeah, just don't do that.
Doctor, yeah, I have a problem. Yeah, what's it? I got old. Why the fuck would you do that to yourself?
Sounds so almost like Dr. Coxman would say.
You're not old.
I don't have a choice. What do you mean you don't have a choice? What?
You have a choice. Shut up.
9 pounds in a week. You know how hard it is to actually put a little balloon inside your arteries to unclog it, and then you go off and you come back looking like that. Well, they say you are what you eat. You clearly went out and devoured it back. That's Dr. Cox.
Dude, you got your table. How come you?
Now he knows how I feel.
Is it talk or is it night?
9.
Right.
9.
Washing machine.
Yeah. I don't know enough German to actually sound angry.
Hello. How are you?
I can't do it. Oh, we're live TV. If you don't want to be on live TV, this spot here is off camera. It's up to you. Oh, you can dance still, you know, like say, hey! No.
We had a vote, and we said no.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Whoa.
And you missed.
I don't have to move. I'm not cleaning that up.
Oh, the models? They're here. Okay, there's 2 types of models. This is like the boat video, but this is like very low grade one. This you can put any donation to, okay? But we don't recommend you put more.
Missed like 6 times.
Okay? This one, unfortunately, it's this one, unfortunately, is a $5 minimum donation for metal. But tell the truth is more, you can find them on very expensive. So it's actually a very good. Okay? If you need tools, tools are free. He can lend it to you, and you can just work them. Well, at the end of the day, you just give it back to us. Simple as that. Very cool. Thank you. So any amount? Oh, awesome.
And he'll be the one who will show you how to build it.
And if you want to, if you want to know what the hell we do with the money, it's actually to buy tools and stuff like that. So people.
Very cool.
Thanks for asking. No, I hurt my knee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's alright. Don't worry.
He got old.
Yeah.
Shut up, man.
Which one do you want to know?
Yeah, you should go to.
How like that part? And the pieces.
Why? So they can tell me to go see my nurse? No, I can do exercise on my own. Thank you. Unless they do have to have me.
No, not mine. But I just want to go back to the month from my back down. Good sense.
Well, if you go for
Only a month.
and this I know.
When I went to see this guy first, I had to see it.
That one?
Sometimes
Okay.
I use all my exactly why you see me and even my phone.
I thought
Well, depends what you want to know about it.
You want to do
You know what you're doing next.
It's a very easy job.
Okay.
If you want an easy job, you just have to memorize a lot of codes in the beginning. You have to do a lot of tests in the beginning, but the job itself is actually very easy. But that's baggage handler work. Yeah. If you do outside on the ramp and loading the plane, that's a completely different job. That's later on if you want to apply yourself, you have to take extra course. You go outside the plane, it's cold weather, the rain like this, the hell, snow, everything should be outside. I don't want to be outside, so I stay inside and stuff.
Like for example, like right here.
But yeah, it's not every day off the plane. Contrary to what you believe, you don't work all the time. You only work when there's actually a problem. And the plane doesn't come, well, the plane does come every half an hour, 10 minutes to the airport, but it's different companies. So I can't like have every time. So sometimes just sit there and check.
I gotta go see my chiropractor. Last time I wanted.
How do you pay per hour?
It's
Very low, extremely low. It's only $15 an hour. But like yesterday, I only worked for 30 minutes, so there we go. But they still pay me for 4 hours. So that's not how I make this.
I'm not gonna go to a clinic where they have to
instructions like
So you only start. Well, we try to help people. My wife looked at it and said, yeah, but you're there for 4 hours.
Yeah, what was that, hospital or something?
But she doesn't work in hospital. She works in the, what's it called? No, it's rehab. She visits people at their homes to see how they're doing. They drugged up and
It's not like this. Yeah. That was the second one.
Go get those.
the rehab doesn't mean anything.
So you have to like do that. So it's like A1.
There you go.
That's
Woo, the ball! Can we kick it right?
No.
No.
Do not kill the ball, please.
Just finish the building now?
the ball is not alive.
You can see it.
Peter, you just finished building that ball right now.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, there's different
is
editions.
that A1? It's not, you look at the pieces and it's just like pieces.
My only question is,
Ça fait ça.
Oh, okay, I never know what it looks like. So,
my only confusion is, I have C9 here, but I do not know where this is supposed to go.
It's supposed to be given to your friend me.
No.
No. No.
It's so bad.
Maybe you missed stuff?
That's what I'm looking for.
Actually, you check at the very beginning because sometimes they show on the runners like certain pieces that you're not meant to use.
Well, that's what I looked at.
Yeah, are these the trial ones? Are these the trial ones?
No. The ones on the trial ones are the ones on the far right. Donation is between from whatever you want to pay, but if you
$1 to $5 for the small one. The other one is minimum
it's
$5.
minimum $5 now.
The only chance they got to build on that year.
Yeah, I know.
Let's do this simple.
Ça, ça m'en fait partie. Vraiment, là.
No, I don't see it. I don't see C9 at all.
Ça, c'est vraiment.
I gotta go with this. I'm curious as well.
I'm already confused.
I'm blind or stupid.
On le CP,
I'll help you in a minute.
Thank you.
No, where's it? After the letter C. Oh wait, are you guys are manually ripping it?
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to use the tools that we have here.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. We've never done this before.
No, it's totally fine. I'm actually. Okay. So
That's C6.
Your
Awesome.
for you guys to that idea. So this is a cutter.
Okay.
So whenever you look at the parts that you're supposed to use out, so you see it there. So you look at the no actual touch.
Okay, like, well, that one. Okay, but like this.
the silhouette on the other.
Use your tracker to
Oh, okay.
so that way you don't get grabbing it and
Okay.
so that's why we're like, I was looking at the oh, you're about to yeah, so I think the idea behind it is so that you have to around the word, but it's a file. It's a file. I think it's on the symbol, right? You see your knob, these are shaped knob area.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome.
So you learn through the idea behind it so that you get I wish that guy was just essential.
You said C9, right?
Oh, where was it?
Right there.
Oh, is that the break?
Show the LEDs.
I don't have LED. No.
I'm really glad we got the beginner ones.
Hello.
Yes?
Do you have LED light strips in your work?
Yes, I do. The one already made, you just put the battery inside, that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a battery on the back of the counter. You're gonna have to ask God to do it for you. So you can look at when you can look on the back of the counter.
Okay, fine. Stop talking.
Fine. Well, you just asked me to talk to you.
Yeah.
You're lonely, right? You can talk to me. Come on. You want a group hug too?
Okay, I'm really stupid. How do I get this piece of the space?
Best thing to do is try to match the same angle with the these.
Yeah, Peter, what the hell did the chipmunk doing like that?
Okay. And then this piece goes on here. Oh, well, I can find it.
We'll use another one. No,
Instructions.
think of it as
What?
roughly, so you have to do this. There's no this is just one, so you just get things set up. Instead of it, you see it go up and down forward.
It's like what I'm doing right here with this.
Like play a violin.
In a way, yes.
So the only way that you use the sidewise is when you have sandpaper.
Oh, okay.
Or slamming stick. You get these at dollar.
Okay.
Yeah, like those ones. Yeah.
Thank you.
So they use your use it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, but it works.
I just one piece of it else that can make the whole bond.
What is this?
Think of it as building Legos or building furniture from IKEA. Gotta follow the instructions and match the instructions.
Except that your tools instead of being a drill and a screwdriver is just this.
I just like.
I know I was following the instructions for the IKEA furniture.
Yeah, I have to use glue, grease glue all the time.
Oh, then you have another problem.
Yeah, I was just building a desk. There's like a piece missing. I don't know what's happening there.
Probably called the instructions wrong.
I
How
thought
could
I
you say
did.
that, dude?
Don't say it out loud.
Dude, have you built a home from IKEA stuff?
Yes.
No, home, not
Yes.
furniture. Home.
An actual house.
Yes.
I built all the furniture within a house. Yes.
No, I say a house. I didn't say furniture. I say a house.
Oh my god, when I got my first apartment, we like went to IKEA to get all the furniture. We got like a house like computer my whole apartment. My mom put together all of that furniture because I didn't even figure it out.
Fell to the cap.
I didn't. That's why I told you to keep smirking because I realized, yeah.
No, this is yours. This is
I was like,
mine.
Who knows?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Future IKEA will actually have like a, a cabinet.
Have you ever had the built in my favorite?
Well, they already have that for the, what you call it?
How did it go?
Closet? Yes.
I actually really like woodworking. We did it a lot in middle school. I built it. I didn't build it, but I made a whole pen. I was very proud. It's a pen.
Yeah, I built a lot of furniture from IKEA. Because like,
Peter, you want to go eat now? You want to stay here to supervise?
I'll stay here to supervise.
Thank you, Peter. Here's the phone.
Because literally, it took me 45 minutes to build a bed, and it took me all day to get not even halfway through it. It's like, I don't understand anything. Right here. Boom, done.
next time you should tell them that those are paid.
What?
No, they're not paid. They're paid for that show. That's what they're doing. They only picture there's no wording inside.
Sabe comment je m'en vais là parce que j'ai peur.
If you want, we can watch out. Did we get?
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, you go to a Japanese restaurant? I'm going to.
Yay! What's my second? Oh,
You left it right here?
I didn't leave it right there. You just dumped it there. Mushy, mushy. It's the who? The FBI? Wrong department, dude. You're in the state. We are Canada. If you're not Canada, you're not allowed to go in.
See, I was even still
This is starting to make me realize, thank God, there's not this sort of thing at his store because he would have no customers.
I know. That's the first thing I always try to say out loud. I was like, yeah, you're gonna do that. You're just gonna lose customers. Oh no. I recognize that audio.
That's gonna fall out.
Yeah.
Like minimal versus like none.
And by the way, did you take the entire,
No, it was only like one, and then
yeah, because like,
because we were like, we were thinking about like which one to use, and then it ended up nothing. Ended up being nothing.
so you used 3 coupons.
2 coupons. I had one.
I guess there was 3 in total with this, and then 4 on this.
So you
which,
had
one
Because I only like cut off one of them.
Did you guys enjoy them today? You know you can use this. That's weird. That's not for you how. Peter doesn't have experience. That's
No, wait, sorry.
It was with me the whole time.
Yes. I thought you had it, but it was I, Dio.
You know, you could have just like let me go there and let's just like, oh, sorry, I don't have it. Just like, oh, well, that's so
I
funny.
probably could have done a Dio thing or just done a JoJo pose, but I don't think I'm muscular and revealing enough for the.
Anyone like at this day and age, there's a lot of like the JoJo characters are now like much more skinny.
Well, skinny pose. It's with time, you know, the styles change and everything.
But it's also like the artist looks is really good like
Ross?
his art style changes.
You know what? I've already got his inspiration
You have
for
some
it.
donation for this guy. You want to do
The inspiration, the guy artist, the guy that's reading JoJo, where's that inspiration?
From like rock and roll.
Yes, that's one of them.
any amount fine?
Italian
This
fashion
guy,
shows.
because it's a limited edition.
That's by the way they're dressed.
They're all dressed up like nice.
You buy it all
Weird and everything, yes. Again, fashion in general.
Did you bust them?
Yeah.
We are live.
It makes sense though, like
so
it's
if you
just
don't
like
like to be on live stream, just work with us.
feels, it smells, it sounds. Feel Brando.
Yeah.
There's chair over there. If you want, you just grab one of the chairs. And the two,
God brand, that's what his name is.
all for 3 people.
This is God. She's joining Brando's brand, so it's God brand.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
She has a client after.
Oh my god, that is
Because Nick will come around too, to explain details on how
except he's like the opposite.
and
He's
stuff
like
that you want for the What? You're gonna build all 3 of them?
No, it's just for them. If they want it together. I just know that someone's gonna write a comment saying, no, that's not correct.
Huh? You have the key? For what now? She needs $5. She's gonna donate $5 each. She only have a $20 bill, that's why.
I saw you guys yesterday.
What are you doing there? Exactly, what the hell? What's she doing here? So, come here. I just want to make sure you're watching.
Peter, do you want a Burka Feyen whatever thing, the Hudson one? Sure. The composite one. I'll bring you some other time, but like, because I just found it recently in my box.
Give me the box. Oh, it depends on yours. This is the first guy. This is when you go to
It's on at the next trivia. And at
we will find
Yeah, you probably came in first because I was the one who made and the other years, I wasn't allowed to win because apparently I'm part of the staff. Oh, I done this figure stuff.
your sandwich has passed over to my
Right, yeah.
There's still 2 tables left.
Because of that.
If you want to sit next to us, now, I can sit over there.
No.
I'm already comfortable.
Wow, that's so evil. I'm going to eat.
Okay, see you later.
Mange reste avant de la bientôt.
Okay, that was a word. Yeah, that's a beautiful. One of the other brought it's like it's one of those like pearl.
I'm running to it. It's not a 9.
Hello?
Moshi moshi! Oh, hey! Oh! It's the man event! It's the man event! Yep.
Who, the fat guy?
You're so mean to Nate! Oh my god! Oh, by the way, runners, garbage in here, okay, not on the table. And try not to cut into the table because those tables are very expensive. Thank you.
Peter will make you pay for them.
Yay! Yay! The 99 is here! Yay! It's live, by the way.
Oh yeah?
It's live, yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Oh no, we have no more maps.
Oh god.
Yeah, you gotta make
We have no more maps. Oh, thanks!
Why are you bringing that here? I'm gonna build this one.
No, it's mine! Me!
Oh god.
What? It's a giant puzzle.
Hello, Charles.
Auction. Starting 2 cents.
Thank you, Peter, for a great gift.
Oh, oh, you traitor.
Okay. Hey, your table is here, okay, Nate? The table is here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say, face the camera or turn your back on the camera. I don't know how you want to say that.
Still have an hour, right?
Yeah, I have to go eat. I'm really hungry now.
Yeah,
All right, okay. Hey, stop. Look what he got. Surprise. Oh, by the way, if you find them annoying, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Wow.
So question, how do you find out about us? Is it through the Otakuthon page or is it through his page?
It's her mom that found it. I think it was on Facebook.
I know it's on Facebook, but you have to find out right. The Otakuthon's page or is it like his page?
I think it was a Otakuthon page.
Okay, so I'm sorry about Lou.
What? Why? If they come back next event, that's fine. If they don't, then yes, it's my fault.
It's good. Yeah. I actually wanted to get you like. Oh well, no. Whatever. Yeah. You know, but like, spend extra money on it. Yeah, I know. I thought you were going to say that we're not actually going to spend money. Yeah, we're not going to spend money on you.
Hey,
Who you got?
we wanted to.
So wait for you. Oh yeah.
Enjoy.
Let me use it. Oh, you would. Oh, I should make a size.
Yes, Peter just give it to me. Ain't he nice?
Right
here on national TV, on live TV.
Easter present.
Any more comments from Mo or Peter?
No. No, why are you talking? Why are you talking?
I don't have that out.
Yeah, Ernest. Ernest. Where's the sticker?
I'm gonna go to a Brazil that is a state-based cat. It ain't happening now. And until then, I'm just gonna stick around here. Yeah, that's it.
I've done this so long and I don't remember. So I know I lost a sticker, but I can't remember where.
It was like not the big sticker?
No, it's one of the decals. Something related to
Like a warning label or? With all the.
I don't remember. That's so long time ago. Oh, where's my box? That's supposed to be good grade.
There we go. Now that I got that out the way.
So, what the hell are we gonna do tonight?
there's something. Okay. No, but I heard the cool.
Yeah,
you know, everybody's like, I'm doing it. Are we live streaming to Toronto?
I'm not sure if you're only from my account. I have no idea what's going on.
Are you ready for the presentation?
Yeah, just have to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you really sure?
No, yeah, I can be.
Okay.
By the way, you want to do this at 2 or you want to do this at 1 now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, so he's going to be gone for at least half an hour.
Wait,
He's a cabin. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to eat there. And he might bring
By the way,
everything.
Nate, if you plan on making like some sort of like an entire like marching band or something, you should get the extreme gun since it comes with a guitar.
I know. I remember seeing the review. It's like,
Well, like I said, I told him I'm gonna make him it's just that I don't know which instrument to use. If trumpet, it's hard to
You could
make.
make like the guy who has like this stick there that goes in the front of the.
Oh, the flag.
The flag, yeah.
That's doable. That is very doable. Yeah.
Yeah, just get palm plate.
Or
you can make it straight.
or I was thinking of the piano that you can wear.
But it's hard.
But yeah, that it has like a giant like logo right here.
How to get in? I can't get in. What?
Oh, okay.
No, that is dish. Because you know the chamber same the tree gun and
Oh,
That's the pop, right? Yeah. You want to check out your things, right? It's a lot of stuff. Like,
I know it's
Huh?
yeah, it's like some of it. I had like with this.
I say it, it's just food.
It's nice.
What the hell?
Same thing. It's like the only thing is like these things are weird.
Oh,
But like the other one. Some of the other all those kids. It's only about. Like, oh yeah, the skirts the one I'm like trying to root her and support it. It's like it's only like this is the reason why like one like just like this you don't want to keep this guy. Oh, you can have him.
Nice.
Use it for other like these might be back like this is pretty much the reason why I bought it in the first place. Like the it's in my and also so all the other like I did not touch any of the other like the bell, like the Festa bells, the spikes, and some of the other parts. Okay. Thank you. So all the other stuff, and I'm making the water slides.
Oh man.
The water slides on it, it looks so good on it. So, and even like the little, I don't know, like water slides. So yeah, like, and also the cool part is a bunch of more free parts for the stuff too. And also these are the funnels. They're supposed to be for the pipe, the piping and everything. I did not use them because they look. Oh, okay, because these were supposed to go over the hoses. They were supposed to go over the hoses. They don't have the dates. They never included it with it. The only problem is when you put it on, it looks really.
Yeah, I do.
So. You want the bag? Yeah, that's why I wanted to give you the bag. The bag? Is it, how do you hold all the
I brought that.
my car? It's okay, like if anything, just use the bag. Big dog. What? Is that the cycle? That's the cycle socket. No, I'm buying them. Oh, okay. Like it takes up so much space, and I had no. He was like, I want this. Oh, here. Shut down. He was like, I would like to. One of my favorite parts too. On the hike with like if you like you can do so much with this thing. It's crazy. Yeah, big front. I can see he was like, I have an idea.
No, but the funny thing is that he asked me first, and I said, no, I want to build it. And he, now I reverse the by the way, really, please?
Oh, it's so evil. Oh, also, like the stand too. It's funny because like when you put it on, it actually it goes like it thinks backwards.
Yeah, because he has that stand to for the big tank.
Yeah, but it's so heavy, the big tank, that it pushes back. So when you see the little things, you have to put weights on it.
That's with the veneer.
Very, very nice.
I was thinking like a Star Wars style.
Okay.
And you even have like all the little parts as well, so that you can actually use it to like.
What would be the scale of it?
My man. Enjoyable.
Are you sure? Last call.
Definitely. I told you, like, you think but thank you so much. Thank you. We'll go to one big call. That's fine. Very good friend of mine, and it was like, I know you could do that.
I finished it. I'm so proud.
Oh, just get
Does it look nice?
It's a flea market.
I have a, I was gonna sell some fleas, so no problem. I'll see you later. Yeah, I don't want no, but honestly, because here's the thing about the Psychozoki Mastery. I had no really and then like maybe like, oh,
Yeah, I've never done
I'm
this
gonna
before.
go get a
I'd like
Psychozoki. I'm like,
style.
why can't I just get lots of
30 close clusters. I just follow the stickers.
the Psychozoki, I didn't even touch the thrusters. I was like, no. I'm annoyed by like the plastic sheet that goes on the shoulder and arms because I'm like, what's the point? You're like losing articulation because it's pushing down. So I just removed it. I'm like, okay, we're here.
The only thing I'm not going to be selling is
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
But that was the idea for no grade. That was the concept.
I look at the manual and it says like, yeah, these are all the stickers and.
So then the next step up from this is like that.
I'm like,
At some point, it's taking like a while.
A lot of people were like,
You
will break a lot of what you do. At some point,
but good though.
I'm still building my 20 plus kits, even though I'm buying more kits. I have to ignore it because I have an addiction.
Yeah. I know how you feel.
But nonetheless, like,
It's good though. Like, at least it's a better hobby than like
yeah, drugs.
drugs. Yeah.
It's the same thing I told my mom. And it's the same thing I told my parents. Like, you should spend your money on the same stuff that everyone else spends their money on. Like, would you rather have me spend it on drugs? And right away they just say, and left. Like, that's one of the examples that I said earlier. Like, I've won arguments against my parents.
Oh wow.
Much great is a little bit of high school, so you can see more detail work, and also at the same time you can have a motion control now. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so now this one is
Hello?
like more structured, but the
Hello? Who's this?
one, so it's
For the meeting. Okay, I'll be right there.
Oh, no.
So now you can put on air, display wise. Go ahead to the bathroom. Both we gotta go. So bathroom wise, when you go, use the front one. So as time goes by, you go and get more experience wise. So Lou, who is here, who left for a little bit for lunch one, he owns a store. So he would, if you go to his store right now, he has like this, like a display kit all of his built models, which you can buy from him too. At a price. At a certain price. But as time goes by, you will see that he's thinking right now. So, no. So the one that's right now thinking, you will see both sides. It's like, and the ideas of what you will start to mark down the details, like say, damage, sandmarks, virus based, and as time goes by. So, how long have you been working on that Millennium Falcon? How long have you been working on that Millennium Falcon? Yeah, but maybe because we're that's fine. So that's fine. So yeah, so that gives you a recent idea how what's going on is. And it's basically it's a hobby. That's what it's called. So it's a hobby. The idea behind it so that you can have fun with building the model. And it does not have to be this. It can also be tanks. It can also be
The Star Wars stuff?
Yeah, she's doing the Star Wars right now. Yeah, so that gives you a reason.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm glad I came. I definitely want to try more.
So yeah, so we're our next week here is May 11th.
May 11th?
Yeah, it's the second.
Yeah.
Decision is yeah, it's the second week on Saturday. So we're doing it on Saturday. Because we did a vote.
Cool. Do I find the information on Facebook? Like, I'll find it.
Or through the sci-fi page, which should be showing up a while. But in about 20 minutes from now, basically 2 o'clock. Nate, where are you? He will be doing a presentation on how he got into the conversation. That long. Then he'll explain in detail how he did it. That's what it's going to be here for. So yeah, but at least that gives you a reason idea.
Oh, you finished. She's better than me.
I know for you that's it.
And why was this? Okay.
Don't worry.
Very cool. Look at tail. I was thinking celebration if you want to get lunch. Okay.
If you plan to go get lunch, you can buy lunch and come back here at 8. The only request I have is that when you finish, is to throw everything into the garbage directly.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And not leave any cards.
Got it.
I now have to go look at it.
Is it also called the
What's he falling?
Now I'm thinking about funny times because I don't live with my other parents. She lives near here. But I live all the way here. So 3 days a week I have that's what I do. Like when my parents are not here, they're out. just where the others are here.
Oh, really? Which one?
And he's had to go home. So that's just annoying. My stuff is on this week. My parents but her parents. The thing is, her parents are. Yeah, for me, just like my stuff. My stuff is not. Everything's fine. I don't have anything to do for me, there's like my own time. The days I don't send her, I'm upstairs like after I finish eating. Like I do the dishes, I'm like that's yeah, just go up. Like that's it's just annoying. It's not like we're doing close together. If you walk, okay, I can walk. It's fine. Other fucking side of that. It's not even. It's just like the sense of the one I have, but it really depends on what you want to do.
Did they just get the? They returned her. Oh, they did.
They just wants to know your job and stuff like that.
Yeah, one of the cabin doors.
No. You can be doing work. If you have something to do with work, press start, let it do stay. We'll do stuff for you and then do something else. Let's say you have another 2 pairs of hands helping you. Use it for that. But it won't be like the worst stuff. There's stuff that you can't do and stuff that you can. Both? Yeah. Simple, systematic shapes. Also, it's like, depends on how good you are with so a lot of times you only continue as it's my recommendation is to do this research. First of all, say yourself about budget. Find out like those are like how much. Mine is like find out like it's good. And also get like community. I have something that grew up on Reddit. People, they just have this thing. People share the like, oh, I use this setting, try that. I use this setting, try that. So then it depends on each individual printer has their own course. So my numbers are not money very close. And also the brand of film that they use is also different. Some films are realized as something better
I was like, do I have my own
Just don't see one. No, it's good. I'll buy it.
I wanted bounces in terms of
I bought it. Some people use the printer as a hobby.
motor this, motor that, to make your face. Spend more time actually tuning the building that actually have beauty. No, I don't want to do that. I want to get parts to be good.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, it's that.
It's really big.
Oh fuck. It takes a lot of stuff. Oh fuck. This is always got vlogs, man. Never. I fuck, that's a big thing. This face looks perfect. Oh, that's big. Damn.
Yeah, you can have all the motor
Mine was like
color. It's like a little bit that has punches. So it feels like something like that. I want to have that. The mechanical parts from pop. See, dual motor. You can get the motors. CGI and walk around it, and then like come to some silver, and then you can just start over. It's so easy, like you have this great. But you're holding it to the silver first, and then you do it on the other side. First play is black because you're gonna hit it hard. Not like the threads. You guys get a plastic and you know like in the actual. You can download like any server that's China server, Mexico server. You can find them. It's a website called Rap Hack. And it's just people like open source people who already did it can download their files, import it into your things.
Yep.
If you fixing the cabinet door that I tore off.
Oh, that's.
It was messed up to begin with.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the cabinets though.
So like weeknights, it's more like you have all that constant energy that you want to let it out. So you have to use it. Because otherwise you're just gonna spend your time. That's dangerous, man. Don't like you'll get your mind off of things, and as soon as you turn the TV off, like
Peter, I'm a genius. If I do it like this,
your mind
it's a lot better screen.
You can trick it
Because before I was like figuring out what to do like this. So all you have to do is just why not have like this?
It's like constantly
Yeah, sort of.
You're telling yourself, oh,
If it, I'm a genius.
your focus is on
That is the most.
the door going trucks. Yeah. I don't know about the chassis. It's not the president. No. Be strong. Moments that you just gonna get so let it get. Let it go.
You're right, Lou.
I told you.
That's because your body, your mind, it's a symptom of something. So,
It's a Japanese restaurant. What do you expect?
I think once you like just McDonald's and just spot something.
Or Subway.
Or Subway, yeah.
It's healthier.
Like it's a shame that it's associated with what was his face, you know, the guy who's like, oh, I had this.
Jared. I don't know his last name.
Jared something.
Yeah. Jared. Jared Sullivan? Jared Taylor.
Back then for Subway, they were like, oh, fuck.
And then there's another, well, we can't really mention it, but Conqueror Live. Wait, Peter, is this on your account or is this on the Otakuthon?
What?
The live stream.
Mine.
Yours? So we can talk about literally anything, right?
You can talk about anything. You can curse at it.
As long as it's not too controversial. And too inappropriate.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's keep this as rated M for mature.
Your mind is it's a muscle, so it helps. You might not watch that one. Yeah, the monks, yeah. Yes. Start watching the wrestling. Send a lot. What's the great how 2 seasons will catch up?
So something maybe could be like a mistake that you made.
Like the newest season, there was one episode where they get air travel into Mongolia. So then they land, right? And like there's nothing inside except the cabin. So they're like, what are we supposed to do? And then a helicopter comes. Then he drops the crate. Then,
And yeah, like we're currently like
over the crate, and inside they see a Land Rover engine. Everything parts. So they have to build a kit car to get off the loads that go on it. And then they have to traverse from Mongolia from one end of Mongolia to in that car that they built. So yeah, it's their best episode ever. Like it's better than anything.
Like
You have to watch more. Mongolia is special. It's so good. Like it's their finest. Team. Saturdays are good. Saturday, next Saturday. Next Saturday.
But some
Saturday.
there's so much that
Usually
society is different than what it used to be. So
my schedule is Fridays I don't get half days anymore. Then I finish 4 years.
you see that.
Fridays I finish
People,
I keep not my boss is not here.
But yes, before I had this summer, oddly it's back to half days. But I might not stick to that because usually Friday afternoons I go pick up my
They got offended because an animal was
so it's easier for me to go from work Saturday than to go to before I actually go out work,
Steve would have said like
wake up, do shit, and go, and go, yeah. Because now, like, I finish evening, like, I get a job, I get to go home and
really?
so now it's more like,
don't
probably sounds regular. I'll try to just have more time to once your side is settled,
except it's just like if you're telling me like, oh, I'm doing it, I know. And I would get that, and I was like, we will get over there. Trying to see another time to gain order, trying to do something. They're trying to go into the businesses.
Yeah, that's your paper.
Exactly. It's actually like that. And instead of like saying, okay, then I got to go. Don't do that. But instead they're just instead they're like, some don't go to this place because
before all the time we're getting hot now.
the reaction was like say, whatever, I'm so wrong. Because I don't care, like I know what it's like. Go ahead and try. Thank you. ask this first because being feminist somehow. No, don't do that. Like I even wrote like at the end of my article, like don't be like this. You get bumped up situation where you make it worse. It's your words. You're doing it. So don't do that. Move on. You know, show it as
It's okay to see the breakers like that. Of course, but you can't.
no, you should never do that with your guy.
No, but I mean, like, if you like that, then it's sort of.
The only thing is like there's a voice actor deal that might not everything. All you do is go get his lawyer. You just settle the whole thing. Like most of the NGO and other were actually that basically don't do that. It's not right. I'm not. I don't think any of I just want to get it right. How's that? That's like that's not just his own favorite, also you're not happy with something.
Nice game.
Difference between someone's already calling that person's like they got us.
I'm not up to, but I did read certain
Because it started with the chess. With chess, I started thinking, I wanted to make it wider. That's how it started. And once I did that, it was very specific. Homicide. Inspiration that
You know that story. That's digital homicide.
the original.
Oh, I thought it was an actual subject. I don't know this word.
The information is it's called the Counter. In the story of Thunder,
And yeah,
it was a prototype.
instead of just ignoring it and didn't know what it is, like this is how it started. They made a video where they took his video and they just put text over it and sold it. Using the and everything. And
He was meant to be.
That's so immature.
I know it's very immature, but then what you see is that
So
that
the
video
idea
is
was
that
the idea
it's commentary and just laughing over it. It's not hilarious.
basically meant to carry
Point of the phrase, ancient fucking stories. And it's just like, okay, I'm taking that. It's fucking great. It's like all
the idea was for him to go to the combat zone.
commentary. They took out like
He was much damaged as he
the
was.
audio and
So get destroyed or
again and sold it further.
so for that reason he has a very
So literally it was
on his feet.
basically like he did a review a very popular review. So it was saying their review of his review, their review of their review of his review, and they did a review of his review. He did a review of their review.
Very clear. And I really love it.
Exactly.
It's been a while. This
I
is
know. They actually went ahead and consulted people and he started banning people who had any say they looked up name. And then they said, okay, you know what, we're going to bring this guy to the court, we're going to do my copyright strike. And yeah, one of the problems with the Supreme Court is he violated our fair speech because what he said was unfair. Yeah.
So I have him.
Like people are like, that doesn't violate fair speech.
But then I so
But they
times
were like,
like
no,
merge
drop on the
basically
And the company still exists on the last like 2 years, just saying that some class. Then afterwards, like after a couple of years, they finally
So there's the head
and they said, yeah, this is one of the laws. Even though they have another passing, just so they're like an hour and a half there to watch.
I knew that I wanted to.
And
Hey, how are you?
like, yeah, like, yeah.
You sound like that. Once you say this, your head starts long.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then I've been working your survival. You close the design off balance.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you have to everything else has to flow.
And so
Now,
yeah, they on that,
I'm confused by all of them.
yeah, even like the lawyer and even the judge, so that's in charge of it.
It's very,
And then it's we have to rewrite it, so then you roll it again.
so commenting on that, the test
First one has to
to do that slowly but surely.
and you're saying like, yeah, this is still a conspiracy because when you're running up with people trying to destroy us.
He's called a Yahoo.
Really dumb, and during that
So
time,
same,
try to get a lawyer.
based off the
They don't
same
have the money.
suit that they do.
And then they try to do 100
I wanted him
Oh, okay.
another evolution.
So,
They have the same,
put on the yeah, and put in the end,
but
like,
like he's inspired by the counter. So the idea was not only how do you feel. I use the idea of those as a common headset. This is canon in the anime. And that's one one option. But it could be that they made another spin-off. That's
Are you sticking in Montreal?
the idea. Like,
I'm going back next weekend.
and back where? So once you start doing that, you
not
realize
summer yet. What have you seen outside?
when you start doing that, you realize progress on
Until the end of June. And after that, maybe
that's the using card. Keep that so once that was done, I realized that you started
Yes, you say you're going to be
once that's done, I realized okay, now that the chest is so
yeah,
it's
like I'm not
you have to
so I
balance.
don't want to pay $60.
You have to make
It's
sure
like-
that length
It's
is
like your
wide enough.
yeah, but I still pay for my.
So for that, it was
I'm not doing
one thing where
I
could have made it
I'm helping out with the setup and takedown.
because
No,
for me,
no,
looking at the
no,
sound of it,
I
it
mean,
was very boring because you have this big protrusion, but then like, looking down, right, you have either you go very short, which is very good, or you make it a bit more pronounced. So that like, these looking like that, it breaks your sanity. So that it's like it's not just a straight line, but rather like just your angular. And like six lines are.
If you're with the group, they can easily just say, oh, no, he's with us, he's just helping us with the setup and anything else. I guess that's what happened before, sometime, I don't remember which time, it was either, no, it was Otaku. No, it wasn't. I mean, I was helping out with takedown or something.
Very well.
They just said, yeah, come on, he's helps out. Oh, no, shit, it was GM. You're strong with my friend.
Okay.
Sticking out of there, right?
Yeah, that's like, I didn't have to pass or anything, but my friend and his friend did. And so, like, they said, like, oh, no, we're already
Maybe
with us, it's just helping us out. It's going to be a badge. Yeah.
The scope of
No, but,
it
yeah, but I'm going to look for us, my own little personal vacation.
different and
I'm driving
there's
this
more
time.
and people are talking about that.
Yeah, I'm helping out with setup and takedown.
So yeah, from there,
But I'm not telling anyone how to do it, because I actually don't have one.
and you, there has to be a laptop. Modify your legs, your legs,
Maybe Lou, because he's building a 5-star storage kit.
all this while, like, I have this
Like any sort of like contact glue, just to like you can one of that's Shawnee boy. That's Shawnee.
We've done all that right now.
Yes.
hosting panels or participating in
participating.
because of the conference?
No, it's lost.
Still.
I'm not hosting panels because they want to host because they want to
Why do you
Anyways, I'll just yeah, I know. When it comes to fucking anime, so naming that suit and also trivia, 100%. Of course, here in Montreal, they actually asked harder questions. Good. You won. Did you win or was it Ernest?
Ernest
when you qualify, you committed to like the
Alright, so we're gonna wait until Lou comes back. He's eating right now. There's 10 minutes left, so hopefully he comes back by 10.
What do you mean there's 10 minutes left?
What time is it now? Until 2. Well, 7 minutes left.
But you never do things. Whenever
Do I have a clicker to?
test,
Yeah.
Well, I had a couple answers wrong, but they counted as correct. It was a spelling error.
Yeah, how are you?
But no, it's the one where like we're doing the simplification of the last.
Yeah, that's the one. I came in second place.
Also one because
I finished
I would never work on that because they're saying like, okay, tell us, is this 2.0 or 3.0?
but
I'm just like,
that was the panel where like I had
So I'm
like
waiting for it to be ready. I'm waiting for my move so that I can and my
No, it's not. It's
I'm sending both of them at the same time. I'm not stripping the face of the world where they even my no more stripping.
They're not extremely round at all. I can't tell.
I'm still surprised I got second place at both of those. That's Brian sitting next to me. He knows more about them, but I heard it's an old, which is an old version. Not a surprise.
Well, the whole Hong Kong city, the Hong Kong city.
Then it's like, everyone wrote Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Then it was like, oh, you have to write Hong Kong City. I'm just like,
I'm serious, like
or like when I wrote the strike team, but it was the strike team. They thought about fix the spelling error. They said they accept those. And I'm just like, my text said that he, the only question, one of the questions he didn't know at all, but I knew was the gun memory ones. Like, what was how did the Seabook sister show off?
Oh yeah.
You like you can
Cat's
like
Cradle.
guitar.
And he's just like, so that's what it's called. I'm like, yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but that's what it is.
It's a song.
I don't know, like
Cat's Cradle is not
Yeah.
super close range weapon.
I don't know, but no, the Cat's Cradle
that's
is
cool.
basically just
You can use
strings
shields
and you make a
and
web out of designs because of the strings.
Oh, dude, it's true.
I don't know the exact.
I think the actual name itself is based off of it.
Or you can do like I don't know.
Because I remember something.
Yeah, it's from
Maybe it's Cradle that.
What's the name? It's HG,
Yeah. You're gonna see all
I shouldn't have won the trivia.
right? I was thinking New York is
They're like, no, pass. It's just like when they said like at second place, it's Adam. I actually rose out of my seat like shocked. Like, what's the he knew more than me. He actually knew who Jude Ashton's girlfriend was. And me, I was just like, I didn't. And then I was until I actually went through like the entire encyclopedia of girls in the Gundam French. I'm like, who the hell is it? Who the hell is it? Who the hell is it? Who the hell is it?
Okay, hold on. Oh wait, I have to go.
I got.
Wait, coming back.
Wait, I got coupons to Subway if anyone wants.
It's okay. I'll wait for. I'll just.
I want like Subway.
I mean, yeah, you're sued.
Yeah.
All for freedom of speech. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, and as a result, that company was not being still blackness. And they destroyed themselves, and then they destroyed Sterling, and flattened them to this day. They're not around anymore because they destroyed themselves. 200 people.
Yes, you stayed here.
Even if you're not interested in business,
I don't have the. You said
No. This.
Don't worry, next time.
Okay. Oh, you already built it. I thought you had it in the box. Okay, thanks. What's actually funny is that all I need is this jewel because I have the striped rouge.
Oh.
But whatever, thanks. I'm actually surprised. I have the song. I ended up losing. I ended up actually losing one ringtone I had for Domo. The screen burning finger. For some reason, I really lost it. So I couldn't find the exact one. So I was kind of disappointed. Anyway. Oh, and now I have the scanner. I might change it. Game that never dies.
people survive.
Like literally almost 10 years I think now, and they re-released that so many times. And yet they still don't freaking fix all the bugs that are in it. Because this Bethesda and the Bethesda shit. Right now they've gone really bad. They've gone to the corporate route. Oh well.
Remember, no pre-order. Never pre-order.
Don't ever pre-order.
Yeah, never pre-order.
Ever. No matter what.
Like, you heard about the whole nylon bag controversy.
Oh my god, I hate like, you know, like there's supposed to be like a duffel bag, like one of those big like high quality bags people were supposed to get for like the ultimate edition of like Fallout 76.
It came with a helmet. It came with like a
Oh
mask,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and everything.
And that one's a nylon bag. Did they even get
They're supposed to get their nylon bag, but according to what it said, they were going to get it 6 months later.
Oh.
And here's their excuse though, like they gave the nylon bag, even though they had advertised canvas.
Yeah.
So that was false advertising, and that could actually bring them to court, federal court. And like the federal, like the ones that actually look at this stuff, they were actually thinking of bringing them to court for this. They're like, yeah, the reason why we switched is because canvas was too expensive. And why didn't you just tell us ahead of time? Because now you're going to get into a shit zone. Like, and then they said, okay, well, we can't give refunds, but we'll give you like 500 atoms, which is $5 in-game currency, which is useless.
No, that's bullshit. They should still get taken to court.
Exactly, and then they said, okay, finally, we're going to give you the canvas bags, but it's going to take 6 months.
Yeah. Well, at least, you know, if they do, because they better like give it. Like, I don't care if they lose money off of this because they promised.
They have no choice.
They have no choice.
It's just that right now Bethesda's been taking the corporate route, which is not exactly a smart thing to do, especially in this situation, in this
day and age. It's like nowadays it's just like loot boxes and a bunch of like crap that.
That's because the reason why is because they keep trying to please investors. Because as soon as they saw a quick get rich quick scheme, they eventually they just grew too quickly. But now they have to sustain that growth.
Well,
they can't.
it's about two.
Minimum $5.
Minimum
The
$5.
thing is, you have to build it here.
Suck with this.
You have to build it
I
here.
did throw something else in it and it went in.
I'm not gonna sell that.
A bunch of people just left.
Why?
Dinner?
One
One for lunch, probably.
Hopefully they just like
Does anyone
order and then
remember?
come in like.
Probably like
Yeah, I bought you $5.
I don't know if I have them. Let me give you some change because I got too much already. I'm actually gonna laugh if I have $10 exactly.
When you're trying to figure out how to put a wing and then you just like turn it around and it fits perfectly.
$10 and change. I'm actually curious.
This is a beautiful, very shiny one.
It's brand new.
It's just this one like
Okay, well, give me that back. Give me that shiny back, and I'm gonna put another 4 quarters here.
Alright.
I just want to make this one space in the top.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, let me know if you need some anything.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Wait, is that $10?
Yes, that's 10. That's 10.
Alright. I didn't fuck up. I had $2 and change.
So that document.
Yeah, well, I'm not in the picture, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, it's a Karen.
Yeah, it's live, by the way.
So Lou stuck at Karen because there's a line and telling them to wait. I don't know where he went. He's getting a green chicken.
I played Ace Combat the other day. I love it so much. It's
Really good.
it's so fun. Like I would highly recommend getting it.
I tried Ace Combat Infinity
Oh, how was it?
as a free-to-play thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like fight arcade kind of thing.
Yeah. This one has like a bit of a story, and they're like, there's like a bunch of planes in it, like a bunch of things.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
For me, it's like it's too much of a skill investment. Because I was thinking of getting like Sekiro.
Oh yeah, Sekiro. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good game.
Yeah, and the thing with that is
It's a lot more.
it's a lot more like hard. Like the skill level is insane. But, for me, it's more like I started playing. I just finished playing God of War.
Oh yeah.
That was like the best video game ever played.
You notice like the entire game, like it never like cuts the
Exactly, like it was amazing. And then God of War. Oh God,
The new one.
Yeah.
But now I'm playing like Celeste.
Oh, Celeste is good.
Yeah. I don't have a Switch, so I have to play on PS4. It's more harder on PS4 because your screen is so big.
But you have the option to actually adjust it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I was going to tell you there's actually another game that you talked about today.
Yeah.
Do you have a Wii?
I do, but like I haven't used it in a long time.
Okay, there is one on Wii where it's not Ace Combat, but it is playing combat. Where you're using like old fictional films.
Oh yeah, that
Skycrawlers.
Skycrawlers, yeah.
It was actually an actual movie. I don't know if I would recommend it or not, but definitely the game itself is kind of interesting.
Okay, I'll check it out.
I played like the first couple of loads. It was at a Otakuthon, I can't remember. It was years ago.
Yeah, but
It's decent. So like, just technically.
What
the fuck happened here?
Oh no, I puttied it. This is from the Build Strike, like the
Okay, so you're doing a custom.
yeah, and then this is from like the Valkyrie. I'm gonna like fix it up. I'm gonna make her open her mouth like she's about to go to battle, like a yelling face.
Okay, because the way it looks like is if I don't know, shape this food or something.
Pretty much. It looks like a construction stage. Industrial.
We're live. I keep forgetting that. Here's the thing. I keep reminding people that we're live, yet I can't forget right now that we're live, and yet I just talked about it.
Oh no. No, because like with the putty, because like they give you a blank face, blank expression.
What it looks like that's not good.
Yeah, but like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own unique one anyways. So I cut the mouth part, like where the mouth is supposed to be. I extended it, like I put like a bunch of pop plate inside, so that the chin extends, sort of thing. So like it looks like she's opening her mouth, sort of thing.
You could have just like drilled a hole and then just cut to the shape you wanted.
I did at first, but then I'm like, it doesn't look weird. It looks weird. It's like not even her jaw is open. Like I don't know how to do that.
Do what you can.
Yeah. I might have to extend it a little bit more because I don't feel it's like open a lot now. But I have to compare it to my fake mouth because that's how I'm basing off it.
I'll stick with my Fumino, which I actually did build. And then they announced a version where the runners are properly placed where there are no marks left. They have to modify all the freaking effect parts.
Yeah. Or if anything, actually, yeah, there's a little bit more effort into it. Unless you want to get another Fumino.
I already got one. Also, I'm not crazy about like the full black swimsuit.
Yeah. If I were to get one, I would probably get the full black.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that my mom took the scene that Fumino well. She's just like, why do you have a girl in here? It's just like, oh no, it's like it's just a model kit I just built. And she's like, nah, okay. I'm like, I thought she would actually like
School
insult me
you?
or something while we're schooling with it. I guess not.
She's grown mellow to it.
Because probably she realized that yeah, he's not spending money on drugs. So
At least.
however, when I told my uncle like, yeah, I want to come to your house, I'm like, okay, don't get weirded out if I have figurines of girls in my showpiece. Like, dude, my brother-in-law has Barbies from the 70s. And it's his entire room that's like that. I don't think that two figurines
What's going on,
of
Mr.
girls are
Speaking?
gonna freak me out. I'm like, fair enough. And also, like, I don't spend tens of thousands of dollars on shit. His brother-in-law did.
Yeah, I'm like,
But like, it's little vintage stuff from the 70s. Like
never
thousands of dollars.
never removed from box. They like,
I'm not sure about 100% of that, but some of them haven't. So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, I just spent like what, $8 on one.
there was like one kid, like, I mean,
You're 10 minutes.
one person I
Oh,
knew
10 minutes?
collected like
10 minutes.
stuffed horses, but like whole life stuffed horses.
So, you know, I gotta get back to my arbalist. It's not gonna build itself.
So we have been live for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Are people watching the live?
So far only like 5.
Oh, one person's watching. Tomatoes and all.
Yeah, me.
Oh, the 148?
No, the
At least the one on Facebook.
no,
I looked for how many
the
people
one
on
thing,
there.
Yeah, there's another company that makes it in 148. It's like bigger.
I know, but the thing is, with that kid, like, yeah, sure, it looks cool, but I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way. Like, I love the freaking arm cannon thing, but everything else about it.
It's less like the same aesthetic as this one.
I know, like, the color I don't like. I mean, I like red, but I don't like it the way it is on that. The head, I'm like, iffy on.
Too rectangle.
No, the head is okay, the ponytail, and I have to get used to that. The knees I don't like because that's where the knives are. Sub arms I don't mind. Like, they can't, but I don't know, it's just like a combination of the way it is.
No, the IR7.
I love it. I loved this thing for almost a
Yeah,
decade.
ever since like started watching.
I know, and then they make the fourth season, and even that was a little disappointing because it's on a fucking cliffhanger. Spoilers for anyone watching this.
It was. I hope they like.
No, they should. I mean, they can't be like
There's so much into it.
They can't like
Leave it there.
They can't
make you wait for
Yeah.
like 10 years. By the way, it doesn't really say,
Yeah.
oh wait, it's not
No.
done. But like, dude, come on.
Even me, I was like kind of pissed. I was like, oh, they're gonna make another 26 episode series. No, 12, 13, 12. Doesn't matter. A lot of the anime series are now
But at
making
least
12 or less.
at least it picked up like right away.
Still,
I just like when he's in the suit, like, well, they're out of range. We can do it.
Oh, they-
Like, oh no, take out your cannon. Okay. Even Sagara was like, holy shit.
well, don't forget he's got super powered device in it. So that and it even says like, yeah, this thing would not normally work unless you have still the lambda driver. And even I'm just like, wow, just wow.
Well, however,
okay, this looks
Here's the thing.
10 times better.
I actually like I haven't read a manga or a novel or anything, yet I knew how to take out the lambda driver without the distance. And it was just like that distracted.
Just switching the wings, it fixed it.
It's like, yeah, just have up and down, peek at the pilot this way, etc., etc.
Handsy.
Clean my sponge.
Handsy.
Nate.
Nate.
Mike.
So you don't know yet?
No, because like I was like I wanted to add like thrusters and all the funnel. It's not. It's like this is
So
gonna be the
are you
main
going to
design.
be taking that model and put it up close
So
to show
wait, you cut the
specific
wings.
videos, or are you planning
I
to?
don't
Kind of like
I'll just leave it there. So no deal of the webcam at all. Okay.
So you use part of the Valkyrie,
Okay.
and then some of the full package.
Oh, is that the two-part buddy?
Yeah, that's two.
Where's Blue, man?
The two-part buddy works very well. Like it's a very very nice.
Why do you think I put quotation marks for 10?
People. Maybe him.
Like what they told me to do is like you take like just a normal
Okay.
like block or something. You put how much of the white,
That's so not little.
and then you put a line of the orange that you are like the same length.
Okay.
Then you mix it up together. It should be the same color as the cap. So like yellow, so like this yellow. Then I just dab it on top. I let it sit for like 24 hours. Usually 24 hours, it's cured. And then I could sand it. It's very very durable. So that's what, like, if anything, I'm just gonna buy those. Like that honey is one of the best. You get it? I think like Bloom Salt. Okay. If anything, also go to Movie Hobby.
There's one just not too far from here, but I don't know if they still play it.
I think about they should have.
There's 2 spots that are free here.
But here's the thing though, you have to be very, very careful with it.
Oh no, wait, no, there is another hobby store. Discount.
Yeah. Oh, do they?
I was thinking of Blue Hell de Jour now. They don't sell it. But definitely it's like it's like 15, 20 on
But like, if anything, you have to be careful though with cheating. Because mine kind of like.
There's spots, 2 spots here. And there are some spots that are free. Like next to people that are you are here. Let's see. Do we need one more table?
But I mean, those 2 spots are free.
That's free. Let me see on this side. There's a spot that's free.
How many are you guys?
Okay. There's one spot here.
I have to book that table.
Yeah, I might have to get another table.
Do you want help, Peter?
No, it's fine. Sit tight, guys. We'll get you a spot. Don't worry.
Analyzing marker.
I'm gonna need it later. Okay. Because it's really hard to paint small eyes like this. No, later, not later.
But you could use it for now if you need.
No, I don't need it for now. I gotta wait for the paint to dry, and I'm just gonna go around the eyes.
Right. Okay, just like as a panel lining around the eyes?
No, it's because when you're trying to like get it even on both sides, but you only get one correct, and trying to do it on the other.
Yeah. Okay then. Let me know when you need it because I was like, oh, do I have it? You know,
I'll use it later. That's gonna try out.
Hello?
Hello?
And then afterwards, if you guys want to do a little lectures on my experience, there's the arts which is the convention. But then also,
That smells like hot dogs. Hello. So roughly about in a couple of minutes, there is a sort of tutorial or a short type of presentation. And the presentation idea behind it is to give you guys a little bit of inspiration of like what can you do after you get a sort of a small sort of session. So this guy will be the one presenting.
Oh, did it start?
Oh no, we're still
waiting for one more person.
Lou,
The organizer.
Oh yeah, it was like.
Lou's like,
It would be more fun if he's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when that presentation will be booked about 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes an hour. And it gives you time to ask questions.
Yeah, you will have time to ask questions.
So that's basically business. So again, these are the no-grade kids. These are for to the experience to get an idea of this. Middle one is 1, next one is 5, and other level, 5 years is but at least it gives you an idea to how does it feel to cut down also to start off with. This is the convention one, so you can guys more to play with that.
Yeah.
And minimum is 5. We recommend that you play it here, but we want you to do it here.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to do this online.
I know.
There's nothing to try this. It's not fun. So, feel free to choose one that you think you will work with. But then there's a donation box. So,
Yeah.
So that's 20. So how do you and you know where the money that you donate is actually to get Montreal, years, and it's not to spend on
It's with the 15. She wants to build. All we need is that. You want to? Yeah.
okay.
More measures.
Okay, so I need to go
I'm opening one.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I said if you want to do more adventures and
Yeah.
Alright, so who needs tools? This is one back. Will show them how to do it, or do I have to sit there and
Yeah, you can show them. I'm like,
Welcome back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Now we're down to just 2. And someone's hangout. Who is it?
Phone is ringing. Phone is ringing.
Is it me? I hope it's not me. I'm on a call.
Yeah. It's not my phone. Or somebody just left their phone in their bag. It's not in the garbage, is it? No.
It's not me. That's for sure.
It's not my either.
Someone's phone. Someone's phone's ringing.
Well, nothing more.
Lou and Martin are on their way. So.
A lot more fun when we're a lot more fun when they're here.
If they're not here in the next 10 minutes, just start already.
Oh, there goes the last ones. Okay, you want to hear the funny story? When I was asking for those kits for experienced builders, I told so Plama is our provider for the learning kits wise, as I said, like, yeah, 12 kits, assuming that there will be 2 people adventures per meet. That'll be good enough for 6 months. No, that did not last long. So, okay. I learned my lesson. I have to go differently. I have to think differently now. Shoot. Okay, someone's phone, seriously.
Wait, oh.
Is it you?
It's on me. I have my phone right here.
It's really annoying now. It's not me. No, it's not me. Even I'm annoyed now.
Peter.
Oh, it's me? Fuck me.
But you didn't you come from here.
Is it me?
Was it actually from you?
It was from you. Funny.
God damn it.
Oh, fucking asshole.
Oh no.
Yo, if you have me on Facebook, right? You have me on Facebook, so we're streaming from my Facebook. Okay, have fun. Yeah, exactly. Alright, go talk to you soon. Alright, bye. Well, go on my Facebook, you see a live stream right now. Go to my Facebook page and you see a live stream right now.
I thought it was turned off. You put the camera away.
Really? What all this chaotic?
Oh, seriously? That's not what he told me to do.
How is Osea lawful evil?
Yeah, but there's a presentation, so maybe just look at the paint I made. Just watch
I
it
made
from my
it
screen.
sweat back wings and it actually works.
Bye bye.
Because there's people like.
Yeah, just watch it from my screen and we'll do it.
The this is not.
I'm gonna shave it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I'm gonna like shave the top down on tiny bit.
Wait, don't shave the top, shave the bottom. Like touch the bottom.
Yeah, next time.
Try it.
But they're gonna watch the stream.
All right. Okay. So no more waiting for Lou. Okay.
You have a
So present yourself and then we'll switch over.
Oh, that's the webcam.
Yeah.
Do we want to turn the lights off?
No, turn off the lights if not, but you want to present yourself at least.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's no more lights for this.
Wait, try to.
No, just turn off the front
and then the back.
Leave the back on. Thank you. At least half the people will be able to build. And now there's Lou.
Okay. First of all, welcome everybody. Hello. Did Lou do the introduction earlier?
No.
Okay. So this is it's our second. I wasn't at the meeting. It's our second anime model build event. Glad to see that there's a lot more people this time, so it's getting traction and popularity, which is great. Hopefully. So last time I think there was only just building along the table. So we thought it would be more fun that every few meetings we get a experienced model maker locally to come and show how they build models, how they customize models, how they how they do their work. And so this is what we call a show and tell, like what we used to do back in school. So that's what we're going to do. Essentially, as you know, we're all fans of like anime and science fiction models. I mean, who here likes Gundam? And who here likes
Yeah.
need to ask.
Yeah, next rule. Okay.
Oh, it's a good
So
game.
yeah. So but just a show of hands. Who here have been building for at least like a year? Right. So okay. Who here have been building for much longer than a year? Like 2 years, 3 years. You've been building this since you were like a kid. Or,
Keep raising your hand.
yeah. Cool. Okay. So 25. Wow. So
I'll give you my
yes. Oh. So, as you might have, since we've been in this hobby for a while, you notice that in terms of building mecha kits, Gunpla kits, Kotobukiya kits, anime kits, there's not just like snapping things together. There's a lot more to this hobby than just, like following instructions, building kits, and then, having it on display. Part of the fun of this hobby is really making something your own. So I'm pretty sure that we've all seen like blog posts or even posts on like Facebook or social media or Twitter where people from Japan, from Philippines, from Thailand, from the US, Canada, they would post pictures of their own custom mecha or either custom Gunpla or custom like anime figure or like a frame arm if you're into Kotobukiya stuff. So have you guys ever wondered why, like what kind of work it takes to like make something like that? Just like
Not a lot.
No?
It's not a lot.
Yeah. So for me, I yeah. So from a model maker like point of view, like I'm always looking for more like what the next like challenge is, because like just stamping kits together, like following the manual and having on display is fun if you were just relaxing, but eventually you're gonna want like something more, right? And for me, a lot of the inspirations are coming from like social media and like forums where I just see people doing crazy stuff with them. So like Gunpla and slash mecha customization has always been something that I really wanted to do. So quick introduction, my name is Nate. I've been building models since I was, oh god, how long? Like 6 or something. First model I built was like a little tank model with my dad, and it was like 5 or 6. And I remember very vividly, we bought this like kit box, like a box, and it had like a picture of a tank on it. And when I opened the box, everything was in parts. And I just found it so stupid. I was like, wait, how come, like, where's my toy? Like, how come I have to build this thing? Like, how come it's just, like, not there? So my mind didn't even know, like, what, like, building a model meant. But eventually, as I watched my dad, like, just cutting pieces off the runner, following the manual, and eventually we had this very, like, cutesy looking, like, German half-track in our hands. I realized that, oh, wow, okay, so here was something that looked like this, like a few hours ago, and through a few like work, I don't know if I can touch this, but it became something else. So that was amazing. The fact that you could actually create something. So from then on, I moved into more like military models, like a lot of like kids my age did, airplanes, tanks, and cars and whatnot. But it wasn't until 2011, 2012 that I really discovered the world of Gundam models, aka Gunpla, that we all know. I remember my first kit was like a small SD model of a 00 Rising. At the time, I was watching like Gundam 00 like crazy, and I was really into that series. So I didn't want to invest too much into like a high grade or a master grade. So I just thought about, okay, well, if I just buy this cutesy looking like SD, at least whether I enjoy it or not, I have like something really cool I can put on my desk. And that's where like the obsession began, because one SD eventually led to a lot of kits. From there, I moved on to high grades to master grades. No perfect grade yet, but once you actually get into Gunpla, you realize that like no matter what the grade is, the only difference is like how many the number of parts and like how long it takes you to stamp it together. But since I was always looking for the next challenge, Gunpla customization was like the logical next step for me. And from then on, like the obsession evolved even further. So today, I'd like to just showcase a project that I completed over the course of last fall. Okay, so I invite you guys to come in the middle after to look at this, or maybe I can even use the webcam to show up close. But it's okay. Don't worry if you can't see the model up close. I have a lot of photographs that I took after I finished it, before the paint got scratched. So you can see it like a bit more clearly over the beach. All right, so story behind this. This is what I call the MS09DR drum DOM, and it's a musical take on a SD model. So it's a little drum, it's a little DOM from the Universal Century that I customized with the little drum kit attached. And the way I want to do this is through these show and tells. It's not going to be me that's only going to be presenting. Maybe another week is going to be another fellow model maker. But we're going to go through, rather than just giving you like a tutorial of like how to keep like get rid of nubs, how to sand, how to paint. You can find that on YouTube like everywhere. You know, it's information is out there. But rather, me and Lou thought it would be cool is that we do this as like a show and tell walkthrough where we just take you through our process of bringing this project from beginning to end. So this is my story of how I made this particular work. So this all started in like the fall of 2018, where Lou, who's not here, was supposed to be here, was not here, who started like a competition, a local like competition via his store, Sci-Fi Anime. I'm sure most of us know about it. So basically, the idea was to, we were only given 3 months, okay, three months to make a custom Gunpla. And the base, one rule was that the base model has to be some like a form of the MS09 DOM, whether it be like the original DOM, the rig DOM, the DOM 2, the DOM from the DOM prototype from MS team, the DOM prototype from Gundam the Origin, but like it just had to be something based around the DOM. So I thought it was really fun because I love the DOM as a like mech design. So I decided to just join and have some fun. Now this is where we're gonna start. So the kit that I decided to use was this guy. It was the MS09F DOM Chopin from Gundam 0083. If you remember, if anybody has watched the show, this guy appeared, I think, in the fight scene in the desert when they're trying to.
He was in a couple of episodes.
Yeah,
until he got, like,
one day to escape. But he was also in Gundam Unicorn, if you've been following that. So I really loved this design because it's a more like blocky take on the original DOM. The original DOM from the original Gundam was a bit more curvy. It was very 80s. The shoulders were more like round and had a more like rounded design. But I really like this one because I'm a big fan of the military aesthetic, where it's very much like prismatic and it looks a lot more functional than the original DOM. And I thought it would be a good like base to build on. And also what really helped was the fact that the kit itself had a lot of like detail, like for the high grade of like a backpacks or like another cool weapon strap on. Because I've seen that done like over and over again, like people all over the place. So I wanted like something different, and that's where the idea of like doing SD cross HG came up. So for those who don't know, SD cross HG is a how can we call this? A build trend? Like a trend I think it started in Japan where people take the head of SD model and stick it onto the body of a high grade. So So a lot like the easiest way to do this would be to just like you get a high grade and you just stick a big head on it and you're done. But some people have actually like done more modifications where they're just seeing from the pictures that I found online. But you can see like some people have like modified the thigh shapes, the length of the thighs proportions to match more like with the size of the head. But the idea is simple. If you take parts from a high grade kit, you take parts from a SD kit of the same suit, or the same suit of the same series, and you kit bash them together to make like a really tall looking SD. And I really love like the designs because number one, like SD kits are known to be very cute out of the box, the tiny feet or sometimes big feet. But like that the head is big and the body is very small. I like the designs of these because not only do you have more opportunities to add detail, but also it makes for like bigger shelf presence because SD kit is very tiny, but if you actually kit bash it with a high grade, you have like a really big, cooler looking kit. So that's where the inspiration came from. So I decided to do a mixed match between the high grade and a Otakuthon kit. Now, with respect to the DOM itself, I haven't really seen like really anybody do a kit bash of a DOM with the a C DOM with a high grade DOM. But what I did find was when I was on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram,
On the internet.
Yeah, on the internet, somebody did a fan art of this guy. This was actually SD fan art rendition of a model that was done by I forgot the name of the model maker, but somebody took a massive grade DOM. He really heavily modified the shit out of it, and he called it the DOM 9D. Now the original model was a massive grade, but the artist who did this, I don't have the name unfortunately, took that design and did like a SD drawing of it. And when I saw this, my head just like lit up. I was like, holy crap, that looks so cool. Because I love this, the look of the feet, the look of the big head, and the overall like possibilities for detail. So I took this and my finished thumb sharpened like side to side, just to see like what I have to work with. So right away I noticed that okay, there's some like similarities between the two there. Like if you look at the knees especially, like it's not the same design, but they both have like very like squarish looking knees. And the chest, I mean though his chest is a lot more like pronounced back. And, he probably did a lot of kit bashing to get like that and everything. So just to start off, gears started turning in my head, just seeing like what kind of parts I could add to this to make it look like that. But even before all of that, the big problem was like, where am I gonna get a giant DOM head to put on that? Obviously, this is too small because it's the original high grade head. So I went like doing research on part. So just looking on like Hobby and Japan and Google and like hobby research, and review like some possibilities that I could use. So yeah, so number one, we have exhibit A is the SD generation DOM. I think this was the first super deformed DOM kit that was released. I think this is the kit as built. But obviously that was a very good like starting off point. We could do something with that. Otherwise, we have the Gashapon one, which is also done in like an SD style. But the wrong word about the Gashapon is that they're very, very tiny. So I think the head ended up being around the same size as the original high-grade head. So obviously, that didn't work either. But now, returning to the LSD DOM, the big problem was like no stores online actually had this in stock. So that was a big problem. Like, even if I wanted to use the head from the SD, I couldn't. Because I couldn't like get like, the DOM, SD DOM. So yeah, so right off the bat there was there's some work to be done. So the only way I've decided to do this, if I want to have a giant dog head, I'm gonna have to build a giant dog head. So that's where I decided to get into flash build the head of the dog. Now, the material I use here, I think we all know it's called polystyrene or top plate in general. It's basically like a raw plastic sheet. Does anybody have top plate here? Like a sheet of top plate? But anyways, it's just like it's a sheet of like polystyrene plastic that you can cut, you can sand, you can glue to make anything you want. And it's the material that people use the most in terms of flash building. So, starting off with this, I started by doing the faceplate of the dog. So the dog, as we all know, has a very like distinctive cross-looking face, which is I absolutely love it. It's a very like iconic face. So from this, I started just like drawing like cross shapes on a piece of plastic and cutting it to setting the corners so that it's even and symmetrical. The size of this at this point was useful because all I had was like a cross shape of plastic that I can compare with my high grain model to see if it's too big or too small. If it's too small, I would just do another like piece that's going to be bigger. But you can tell that. Well, you can tell that you see, I make pencil marks like just sketches of like the size. But you can see that I tweaked this multiple times just to get the size right. So it wasn't like I just like started like getting the size right away. It was some like tuning and like sounding and just to get it in that right shape. And from there, right, just using basic sliding to build up the vertical wall, like going from 2D to 3D. So here, you took about like one evening tool. It's very simple. It's not too complicated. It's just starting with like a one corner and eventually like using cutting plastic to shape and sanding it to go around the contour of that original faceplate. It's not visible maybe to the people at the back, but there's actually an angle. So this is not like a flat like shape. But rather if you look at it from the side, like the portion here towards the head is actually angled down. And the portion towards the chin is actually angled forward. So this will give it some like edgier look to the face. It's not just like a flat cross face. Here I'm going into more details of like what the inner mechanism of the head would look like. Because if you just bored, you can just like stick a monoline into here. Right? You can look at it. I love to just paint this black and stick a monoline. Like there's so much opportunities for detail in terms of space. So I decided just to take back some detail that I had just in my parts bin, just to make it look like a bit more mechanical. If you look in the face, there's more interesting stuff going on. So if you ever built a master grade kit as Otaku or Dom, you notice that there's actually like the monoline to move left and right and up and down. It's not like a sort of like a rail system. So I sort of tried to create that. So you can see like inside the head there, I found this part that how this like really cool like move in the middle. And underneath there is a ball joint attached to a thruster. So the head, at this stage, the eye was actually the thruster from a, I don't know what kit, I think it was from like a Otaku hybrid. But yeah, so I thought that if I could paint the center of the thruster paint a white color, it almost looks like a eye. So yeah, so that's one example of like what fashion is. You're taking a color from something and you're using it for something else other than its intended purpose. So yeah, and this was great because I had used a ball joint to attach the eye onto the base plate. I had the possibility of moving it just to like for different reporting options. So yeah, so that was how I built the face of the dog. But then, because you have once you've done the face, you have to do the rest of the head. The rest of the head has to be built too. So for here, I spent a lot of time just like going through my arsenal trying to see if there was like a curved augment piece that I could like salvage or something. And then at one point I even thought about like just So looking into our parts a bit more, I found the remains of a high-grade mobile armor from 0083 called the Valo. It's a red, giant, crab-looking thing in the picture, patterned by the one on that. So on the back of the Valo, the mobile armor, there was a very cool-looking protrusion, right? And then when I picked up the model, I thought, oh shit, okay, if I cut that part out and widen it with some plastic, it roughly forms the head of a dom. So you can see the red plastic is from the mobile armor kit. But because the original kit was actually made in 2 halves, I had to use a lot of plastic just to well actually this is 3 millimeter plastic just to cup it out, right? Just to make it fatter so that the width of the mobile armor matches the width of the face. So once that was done, there was a hole where this rectangle was. So just to fill out the hole, I just cut a triangular piece of plastic just to form just to close up the space. So and then obviously because this came from mobile armor, there was I think 2 ball joints that were supposed to go into here for the arms maybe. I don't remember, but instead of just filling this out with plastic, I had some parts from a high-grade GP02, and the little cap that you see here was I think the cap from the knee joint. So I thought that if you put it on the side, it actually adds a bit of mechanical detail. And I didn't glue this to there. It was attached with sticky pad, so that when I paint the head, I can have the option of painting this different color, and it'll be easier to spray paint because we don't have to do any masking. You can walk out, right? And because you hold the don't tell anybody. Nice going, Lord. Nice going, Lord. Hey, you go on.
Now it's going slower.
Yeah. Okay. So. All right. So next slide. So at this point, I was pretty satisfied with how the head was. So just before I move on to attach it to the rest of the body, it's just using a normal bar below the head to make it move. So, yeah. So obviously, as a mock-up, I decided to stick the head onto the high-grade body just to see the proportions was, and I was pretty happy with the way it looked. It wasn't too overly big, wasn't too overly small. It still had the SC aesthetic, but with somewhat high-grade proportions. But now, since we all know, an SC kit is defined by its super deformedness, so I decided to remove the thighs from the original DOM. If you just go back. I can't go back.
Yeah, no, sorry. A little small thing for the people who are online, in order for them to be able to see, Lou wants it to see you. So,
okay.
Well, so continue on where you'll see double of yourself or probably triple.
Oh, triple. Oh, triple. Look at that.
Okay, so continue on where just your PowerPoint is on your left.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So if we compare with the original DOM kit, okay, you see how the distance between the waist and the knee joint is a lot bigger, and when I'm at this stage, it's a lot shorter. Basically, now with the removal of the thigh pieces, the side skirts are literally covering the knees. So they really shortened the high grade down. Just once more, if you look at that. So this was very, very tall, and now it's it's very, very short. So to attach and actually before we go on and at this point, I also added some parts from I think the MG, not the MG, the high grade GP02 and the high grade Shoulders Gallus, just to pad out the shoulders a bit and to add more detail on the front skirts. And remember, we only had 2 months at this point, just to build this. So couldn't go too crazy with like a lot of like splash building and stuff. But I knew right away that I wanted the shoulder to be a bit more wider. So instead of just having the original like shoulder armor directly attached to the torso, I decided to space it out with this is the grappling hook launcher from the HG Showroom Gallus. So like from that kit, like you were supposed to have like grappling hooks that shoot out from there. But I thought like since they were separate pieces, it was very easy to make them fit onto the original torso. So overall, like it made the width of the mobile suit a lot more bigger. Yeah, and the feet wise, I didn't really change that much, except on the Dom Troppen kit, the original kit, there were like I think cooling vents, cooling scoops on the side. If we go back to the original picture, actually, yeah, as you see this piece, I decided to get rid of it because it had like a conflict with the angle of the feet where I was posing it at, and also it was just more parts to paint, and I didn't want to do like add more parts to paint at this point since like time was running out. But also, the cool part was that like this plugged into the feet via 2 vertical slots, and when I removed it, the 2 slots actually added more detail to the feet. So so you don't always have to like add parts to your build. You can remove stuff to reveal like more detail. So that's one interesting aspect. But yeah, so this was a quick mock-up at this point just to see how it looked like. But for those of you who are wondering how I attached the feet, the legs to the hip joint, since the thighs were not there anymore, you have to put you have to fix the feet onto the hip somehow. Easy way is just to glue it with like hot glue, but I didn't want that because I wanted to be able to be posable, right? So Kotobukiya, and I forgot the name of this company, but they sell these like ball joint kits that you can buy. It's from the series called the Modeler Support Goods, MSG. So you carry this in your store for a while. Yeah.
To get more.
Yeah. So these. Shameless plug for So these are really useful when you want to like actually experiment with like limbs, attaching more limbs on your suit, like making the legs shorter. But yeah, these are universal ball joints that you can just use and glue like kit back with your stuff. So that's what I used for. That's what I did for the legs. It's just like a ball joint. And also one thing I forgot to mention was I don't have a picture of the back yet. But the big side skirt that you see here, this is from the master grade Rick Dom. So like 2 DOMs were sacrificed to make this SD/HG. So not only is high grade and scratch building, but it's also parts from like the master grade, which I find kind of funny because it's like you're using all the DOMs that are available to make this DOM. So yeah, have more. Yeah, so that's you can see more of like the big ass skirt that's here. Because remember, like the original installation, I wasn't trying to copy this, but rather you use this as source of inspiration. And he had like a giant ass skirt from the back, and I really like the look of that. It's like it really added mass to the design. So I had like this piece on hand, so thought about why not use it. But the more interesting part here was like the work on the backpack. So the backpack piece, you can see, if I hide this whole tank assembly, this is the original like backpack from the stock kit. And what I did was like, what I like to do is that often you see the thruster that comes with the kits are very tiny. But one very easy mod that you can do is to actually take spare thrusters from like a master grade, and you just stick it onto the existing thruster. So once more you can see like the purple part here is the original thruster, and the black part is the thruster from the master grade Sazabi. So like it's from the funnels, I think, the funnel section. So, yeah, so it's an easy way of making like the original thruster bigger. And another reason I like to do this is because the original thruster is designed to be attached to the original backpack, right? So like instead of just like swapping this whole thing out with a new thruster, in that case you'd have to like somehow build like a new attachment point to make it compatible. If you just glue the thruster on the existing thruster, you don't change the connection point at all. so it's easier to just remove and like glue back once you're done painting. The backpack here is from the HGUC Zeku 1 from you're gonna see from Gundam Sentinel, and I think the this is from another kit. I forgot the name. I think it's also from the Showroom Gallus. But anyways, it's like a pivot joint from like an elbow part, and directly attached to that, you can see the sticky tack at this point is the tanks from the MG Sazabi, the old Sazabi, not the Verka, it's the older Sazabi. So at this point, I was just like mocking up the backpack to see like what kind of like look I could go for. I was always a very big fan of the fuel tank designs. You know, you look at the Sazabi, you look at the Nightingale, you look at the Sinanju. A lot of the designs from Gundam Thunderbolt, they have the mech, but they have this very cool looking like fuel tank. It looks very functional and it adds mass to the design of the suit. So I really love that. So like I knew that I wanted to incorporate something like that in the build. And what's really cool about the Zeku 1 is that not only do you have like the backpack, but it also has these like, I think this is the tank that came with the kit originally. So like it's always nice to have these round shapes in your build just to break up like the design of the original design of the suit. And of course, to attach the MG Dom skirt to the back, I used like parts from, I think also from the Showroom Gallus. Like this is, I think, the like a knee joint or something. That's that you can see like here. There's a piece of flat plate that's attached onto to make it plug into like the back of the high grade hip. So here's another view of like the kit at this point. You can see, and from the side, I started moving the backpack around. Here it was oriented more like vertically with the tank at the top. But in the end, I decided to go with it where it's horizontal, where the tank is actually at the back. So we just had to like switch the orientation of the backpack a little bit. And of course, this opens up new possibilities for detailing because you see in this photo, the top is flat. There's nothing there, right? It's real estate. It's good real estate to add like new parts like vents and details and whatnot. And from the top view, you can see here I used like just parts from my parts bin just to add, just to make like the top more interesting. Because I knew like people were gonna be looking at the kit from top down, so it'd be always cool to like have like detail at the top where it catches your eye, right? So on the side of the tank, I also added more thrusters. I've been inspired by Gundam Thunderbolt, where you see like in real space, you see like side thrusters that help rockets move around. So yeah, so that's where. So at this stage, I was really happy with like how the Dom looked. And they had presence. They had that like SD head. They had the really like shortened high grade body. But overall, I found it to be like a good proportion. Now there was So just wanted to show this slide. So this is not all the kits that I use, but like kits with major parts that I use inside this build. So first of all, we have the back skirt from the MG Rigdom. We had a lot of like the front skirt from the high grade GP02, amongst other tiny details. A lot of parts from the Zeku 1, especially the backpack and the fuel tank there. A lot of parts from the Showroom Gallus in terms of the shoulders. Parts from the MG Sazabi, like for the thrusters and the fuel tanks. And from the Aoshima ARX8 Leviathan kit that was recently released. They had like a lot of spare hands that came with it. And I really like the look of, actually the hands that you see here are from the hybrid, but anyways. I saw them out with like hand parts from that kit. It was like a cover from the hand. But yeah. So once that was done, I have more slides. Yeah. So I forgot to put the pictures for the weapon. But anyways, at this point, like I thought about just putting like what's it called, like a giant bazooka on the shoulder. But I thought it's kind of too like me being a bit hipster. It's a bit too mainstream just to put like a giant like bazooka for it to hold. So I thought about, okay, well, how can I like switch this up a little bit? So when I was at work, the image of the Energizer Bunny commercial popped into my head. You remember that little bunny that just goes around with like drumming? So I thought, oh my god, like why don't I just stick a giant like drum on the front of it, just to at least it's not gonna be having a gun, but you'll have like a giant drum and it will make it look really, really like unique, right? So the drum itself, gonna disassemble this live. Hopefully it won't fall.
Yeah, they're too far.
Oh, you didn't fall. So the drum is actually parts from Indian Tire. It's these parts are two pieces of ABS sewer pipe. So using that, I basically I glued. It's basically like when you go to the plumbing section, you can buy different like kinds of pipe, and at the end of the pipe you have like a connector, right? And the connector is like literally half of this flange shape. So I just glued two together, and I used styrene like place just to close out the holes, right? And then painted like the bionic symbol on it. But yeah, that was really easy to do. Like I thought I would have to like scratch through the whole thing, but no. If anyone wants to see, I forgot to attach the pictures on the slides, but I have them on my phone, so I can show you guys right after. But anyways, priming wise, gonna get into a bit of painting. Priming, this was right in the middle of winter, okay, so I couldn't really like prime on the balcony, it was too cold. I didn't want to use like lacquer spray paint because it really smells and it's toxic. So I found on Amazon, one thing was suggested by a friend of mine, was this brand of paint called, by Badger, called Stino Res. I don't know what they call it that, but it's called Badger's Stino Res. And it came in like 3 different like colors. You can like gray, white, and black. So I decided to just try like this primer just to see, and it got really good results. It's a acrylic primer, so it's not as toxic as the lacquer, and it didn't smell, which was great too. Because like when I was spray painting this, my windows were closed, and the only outlet to the outside was through the spray booth. So I was really happy with the way this this primer like reacted. And yeah, so once the parts were primed, then the usual happened, where I had to choose a paint scheme. So I decided to go with like the original like Dom color because I really like the purple, and Tamiya has a really nice like purple, albeit like in gloss, but no, it was easy to make it matte with some top coat. But just like a quick run through of the colors that I use. Okay, so the feet, this is Tamiya NATO black. The purple is Tamiya purple. The red on the Panzerfaust drumsticks is Tamiya red. Most of it is pretty much all Tamiya paints. This is, I think, a Tamiya IJN gray. And yeah, basically that's like the 2 main grays that I used was the IJN gray and the dark gray for the inner frame. And also the NATO black for the rest of the black armor. The white of the fuel tanks. The thing about white paint is, depending on the brand that you use, white is never quite opaque. So the primer color always shows through, and sometimes like your like original kit color also shows through if you didn't prime it in the first place. So for this white, I just used the white primer, and that's all. Like, because the primer has a different chemical like composition. The primer is really opaque white. It can really hide like the base color underneath. So rather than just painting white on top of white, I just left it in a primer color, and I sanded it with like I think 1,500 to 2,000 grit sandpaper just to get it super smooth. But even then, like my airbrush was acting up, and then sometimes sputter of paint happened, and it was 2 days before the deadline. I was freaking out. So if you look closely, underneath this decal is actually like a bump of paint where the plastic cracked. So to hide that, I just slapped on a detail on there. So nobody knows except you guys.
Nate, are you also going to mention the orange peel on the back skirt?
Yeah, that was caused by the fact that the NATO black was too thick for my airbrush. I sort of thinned it more. It was from like a fresh bottle. Usually when I open a paint from a fresh bottle, I like to just add like 50-50 thinner. But this time the paint was a bit thicker to go in the airbrush. my airbrush needle is 0.2 millimeters, so it's very, very thin. So to make sure that you get like an even like paint spray, you have to make sure that like the paint is actually relatively thin for it to make a smooth coat. So if you look up close, like on the skirt, there's like a bit of like rough texture, but it's okay. In the end, it don't really like, it didn't really bother me like that much. Just a few photos I took. Yeah, this is the details of the fuel tank. One thing that I tell people when they ask me like, oh, like how do you add detail to the parts? And like one of my models is to let the plastic do the work. Because a lot of times if you're using Gunpla, Kurobukiya parts, the plastic actually has like a lot of detail onto it. So rather than just like scribing your own panel lines, if you just like kit bash around, like a lot of plastic pieces have very good detail. Like for example, this like panel lines, I didn't make that. Like this was from like the stock Zeku Irons kit. And by painting it white and adding like black panel lining, you can see that it really brings out like the details in the panels. And of course, what I really loved doing was like putting red decals, like warning signs on like the white fuel tanks. I find that red on white looks really good, like from a contrast perspective. Like it makes like those little tiny like decals pop. Here, I'm not sure, you're gonna have to see the model up close, but between the two tubes here, I added a piece of braided hose, and it really added like that like piping, like tubing detail, like cabling detail, and I really like that. Just to go into more detail here, this is a part from the original Dom Chopin handguard. So you have a lot of like spare parts that you can use just to add like a bit of like texture to the back. Because if I didn't do this whole thing was gonna be like a flat piece of plastic, and it would look very boring. So just by like kit bashing details, you can add like a lot of the parts. And of course, when I was painting this was a much darker shade than the details to make the details pop, right? So if this was a whole gray piece, it would look good, but like it's always more interesting to use different shades of gray to like accentuate like different kinds of mechanical details. And the vents here are from the original like Zeku Irons kit, and these were left unpainted because the numbucks were hidden by the slot here, so we didn't have to do anything like so. It saved a lot of time. Moving on to the underneath the back skirt, you can see that like this whole thruster assembly is from the master grade Dom. It's from like the back like leg thruster part. And inside here are like 3 tiny thrusters. So I used the same trick that I did before, where like I just glued the size of the vernier cones onto the existing Dom ones. So that way it's easier to attach them. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I did. And like very often what you see from like works coming out of Japan is people like to put like pins coming out of the vernier, so just to add like extra shininess and mechanical detail. The pins here are from electronic supply stores. These are used for in the coaxial cables. Like people when they make coaxial cables for audio, they have like they use like the little pin there to make the ground connection. So I just bought like a bunch of pins from like the electronic store, and I just drilled a hole in the center of the thruster, and I glued the pin onto there. Didn't have to paint the pins because they were already like chrome metal, so. And they look very, very good because he adds more detail to the thruster. I actually lost points on this because Lou noticed that I glued this a bit like more like slanted. Maybe it was slanted, maybe it wasn't slanted, but he noticed it. So whatever, slant. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is the Dom without the drum attached. So because of the weight of the backpack, obviously it was a bit more like lean towards the back. So, but I like the overall like angle of it. It's pretty cool. Like yeah, so that's done. Yeah, shameless self-promotion. I do I post a lot on like Canadian Gunpla groups. And we're gonna, I think, after today, depending on what Lou wants, do you want to launch like our own Facebook group, Lou?
It's not what Lou wants, it's what all of us.
Yeah, so if everybody's okay, we have like a private group right now that we're gonna make it public soon so that everyone from today's meeting can join. But I'll post a lot of builds like my work in progress on Facebook. But if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can just like type in, just search like at NATO builds, NEITO builds, all one word. So it's my own personal Facebook page where I post a lot of like work in progresses. But yeah, so that was the walkthrough of my project. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And yeah, I forgot to put the pictures of the drum.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Are you
so-
going to submit that to the competition for this year, 2019?
No, that was 2018. That was something else, 2019.
Look at Lou's disappointment. He's like, seriously?
Also, I don't think he would be able to submit it since he showed up all those pictures
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, but only in Japan. Only in Japan. You can't do it. Only in Japan. Yeah. So yeah, I can't live stream from the thing. Could I go on to my Dropbox and because I wanted to show like how I did the drum. Is it possible or like full screen the thing? Or sorry to make you do it. Yeah, I forgot to put them in the slides.
Who's that?
I'm logging out my own Dropbox.
Porn, so much
Yeah,
porn.
boy!
Oh yeah, that good shit. You guys are so evil.
Alright.
Would have fun. That's
Well, we would be showing the part where Sailor comes out of the shower. It was on public television back in '79.
Man, you got real shit.
No, that's what actually happened in the original Venom series.
Man, you watch weird stuff.
Oh wait, wow.
Adam, yeah, I know about that. Whole culture, I think a long time ago did the shower issue.
Apparently it influenced my whole life.
It was fun.
Wow, it's annoying.
Big salesman.
So very loud. Right.
Show password.
Hold on.
Before you continue,
Continue. This is how everyone can see your audio.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, so find your own better. Is that?
tentacle porn.
All right, so for those of you still paying attention, so this is what I did for the drum. So you can see like this is the part from Canadian Tire. It's like literally like the ABS pipe coupling. And when it came out of the store, it looked like this, but it was too wide, right? So I cut it with the saw just to make it like a bit more thinner, so that when you put two together, the drum isn't like too wide. So
like those 6 parts, you know, like 6
Yeah.
beat things. That was part of the PVC.
yeah, so what's great is that like the moment you can see it's too pale, but like this little detail here, that's all part of like the part. So they didn't really have to do any like more detailing. So painting. Yeah, so this is like the drum being painted. Obviously, the face was sanded so that like I have like a more like smooth primer application. But you can see like where the space between the grooves. This is all flat plate just to be used to like to attach the two pieces together. And between the grooves, I added like some gray rods so that it makes that like that drum shape. Yeah, and here is like the drum face. So instead of rather than just doing like a circular styrene plate, I just decided to do like more like add more details to this, make it more interesting. So you know how in the knee of the Gundam Axia, Gundam 00, you have that like, very round lens,
Yeah.
but it's not just a round lens, but you actually have like little notches in the lens. So I thought that was cool. It breaks up the roundness of the shape like a lot. So rather than just having like a round face, it actually has more detail. And here is actually a styrene plate bracing that I added so that it actually supports like the styrene plate more. But
How did you cut that?
the circle was cut using a I used a compass. Not a compass actually. I had a water bottle, like a bottle around the right circumference. Put it on the styrene. I traced it, and it was thin enough to cut with scissors. So yeah. But then obviously when you cut it with scissors or even hobby knives, the edges can be rough, so you have to sand. Like the thickness of the styrene is only like 1 millimeter, so it's very thin, easy to cut. But yeah, that's about it. And that's the head being painted. For the eye, I actually added a piece of jewelry. It's from like the dollar store. You can see like it's just like a plastic gem. So rather than just painting it like clear paint or something, and if you have that, it's like a very shiny piece of plastic. And from far away, it looks like a lens. So I really like that. Yeah, and that's that.
I'll log you out. Use your head. Okay, good.
All right, so that's about it. If you want to take a look at the model up close, go ahead. I'll leave it there for the meet.
No, not you.
But yeah, thanks everybody. So, thank you.
So if you have any questions about building your stuff, you can always ask him.
Thank you.
Okay?
Not
Like.
any of
Okay, I'm gonna stop again.
Yeah, hey,
I'm gonna stop this
question
video.
about the stickers though.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you know
Presentation's over.
the borders